on track to hit the U.S. East Coast.
If you live anywhere from Florida to Maine, you need to be paying close attention to this storm because it looks like we could have direct impacts from Matthew later this week and into the weekend.
That's Fox meteorologist Janice Dean. A state of emergency has already been declared in North Carolina and by Florida's Governor Rick Scott.
I cannot stress this enough. It is a deadly storm.
Matthew's blamed for at least 3 deaths already. Donald Trump defends his taxes.
Honestly, I have brilliantly used those laws.
He says he did nothing wrong after the report showing the Republican wrote off huge business losses to maybe pay no federal income taxes for years. Hillary Clinton calls Trump
the poster boy for the same rigged system that he would make even worse.
Tonight, their running mates debate for the only time. Tim Kaine versus Mike Pence.
A Kaine aide tells Fox News Channel that a big part of the senator's strategy tonight is to get Pence on the rope and that, quote, let's see if he is willing to defend Trump. Now, as for Trump's running mate Pence, the New York Times reports he's been watching videos of Tim Kaine the way an NFL quarterback would to try and pick up his tendencies.
That's Fox's Peter Ducey at the debate site in Farmville, Virginia. The NTSB says crews are working 12-hour shifts to clear debris from that train station in New Jersey where a train crashed into it last week in Hoboken, killing a woman on the platform, injuring more than 100. They're still trying to get the recorder out of the front. The recorder in the back of the train wasn't working. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
In Chicago this morning, 61 degrees. We have cloudy skies. Winds are south at 6. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott on AM 560. The Answer. 3 are dead and another person critically hurt. It happened in a crash on Chicago's south side, where authorities say a motorcycle and a van collided late last night near 106th and Indianapolis. 2 men on the bike and a woman in the vehicle were killed. The van's driver is hospitalized. A Chicago woman standing on the sidewalk in the city's Roseland neighborhood shot to death when she was caught in an exchange of gunfire between 2 groups. Authorities say the 21-year-old Adriana Mays was with a toddler when she was shot Monday as she stood next to her car on Chicago's south side. The toddler was not hurt. Chicago Public Schools announcing it will lay off about 250 teachers and staff due to a steeper than expected decline in enrollment. CPS says total enrollment on the 10th day of the school year was about 378,000 students. It's down 14,000 from last year. The Supreme Court will not hear an appeal from a Cook County sheriff who was ordered to stop threatening credit card companies doing business with the classified ad website Backpage.com. The justices let stand a lower court order that forbids Sheriff Tom Dart from contacting Visa and MasterCard to disrupt online sex ads linked to human trafficking. Republican Senator Mark Kirk, Democratic challenger Tammy Duckworth sparred over the Iran nuclear deal. AM 560's David Stewart gets a reaction to their face-to-face appearance before the Tribune editorial board.
At the Chicago Tribune editorial board, Kirk defended calling President Obama unhinged for delivering $400 million to Iran just as hostages were being released.
It's important to conduct our government in a way that there's no price on the heads of Americans, that we want to have freedom to travel about the world without fear.
Duckworth said she also opposes ransom but questions Kirk's timing.
When these things are happening, or when we are negotiating the Iran nuclear deal, we can't have a United States senator who continues to say these irresponsible things.
Polls show Duckworth with an average lead of 3.5 points. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
Chicago sports. Milwaukee beat the Bulls 93-91. College Player of the Year Denzel Valentine had 4 points, but he did tweak an ankle. Rick Renteria getting a second chance to manage here in Chicago, but this time on the south side. Sox promoting Renteria from bench coach to replace Robin Ventura. The news, a service of Staples. Staples has low prices on ink and toner and an in-stock guarantee, ensuring you always get what you need fast. In-stock guarantee applies to in-store selection only. Out-of-stock ink and toner will be ordered from in-store kiosk with $10 discount plus free shipping. Limit 1 cartridge per customer. 5:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You know what? I want to tell you something, America.
The Joe Walsh Show.
We ask our cops to do an ugly, impossible job. And way too many of us hate on them every day. I'll tell you what, America, you are going to wake up, so help me God, America, you are going to wake up one day without police officers in this country. And you will deserve it.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing, independently owned business bank. Signature Bank listens to your story, learns about your business, and sticks with their customers. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mick O'Rourke, co-founder, president, and CEO of Signature Bank. We founded Signature Bank in 2006 with one goal: to serve as Chicago's business bank. Now, 10 years later, we've seen that vision turn into a reality. We'd like to help your business realize all of its potential. My co-founders and I have many years of experience in commercial banking. When we learn about your business, we sit down across the table from you. When you have concerns, we pick up the phone to talk them through. We know your name and your story. At Signature Bank, when we make a commitment, we deliver.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
I just love CertaPro painters. You know, they've been to our home twice now, painted our chipped front porch and my son's bedrooms. Sharp lines, vibrant colors. And you know, fall is right around the corner, the season of colors, so now is the perfect time to update your home. Whether it's a bold new warm color for the dining room or a fresh take on your home's exterior, call CertaPro painters to transform and protect your home before cold weather arrives. Plus, the holidays will be here before you know it. So now is the perfect time to give your home that updated look you've been wanting. Call now to schedule your fall painting project. 1-800-GO-CERTA. I trust CertaPro painters in my home. They were nice guys. They cleaned up after themselves. There wasn't a single drop of paint anywhere except on my beautiful walls. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated, so you'll feel confident knowing that these are local business owners who are part of your community. Call now for your free fall painting estimate at 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's 1-800-GOCERTA, or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
5:07, time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com. Providing the right climate for business since 1935. Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 Traffic Center time. Welcome in Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. On the outbound Stevenson Expressway, traffic is stop and go from LaGrange Road to Willow Springs Road. There's a crash there involving a car and a semi. The outbound Orion has delays from 91st past the split with road work in the two left lanes scheduled till 6 this morning. Most of the other overnight road work has cleared. On the Kennedy, though, the express lanes remain closed due to overnight work. Traffic moves well in the locals. Traffic is a service of Napa Auto Parts. If you can't remember the last time you changed your antifreeze, that probably means it's time to head down to a participating Napa Auto Parts store and grab some Prestone antifreeze for $12.99 a gallon. Keep your ride running longer, stronger for less. That's Napa Know-How. Offer expires 11/13/16. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here is our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Clouds give way to some sun today with a high 75. Then it will turn out partly cloudy tonight with a low 61. Clouds and sun with an afternoon shower or thunderstorm around tomorrow, high 77. And a brief late night shower or two, low tomorrow night 63. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
61 at O'Hare, 62 along the lakefront. Next news at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Empowered Investing, the show dedicated to investors. Heard Saturdays at noon right here on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Dan and Amy Palooza continues today. Well, we had 7 hours yesterday, and we'll have
strong.
7 hours today.
Yeah, and we filled in for Michael Medved. That was quite an honor.
Yeah.
But Michael Medved's show airs from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. So we gave people a 3-hour break, or 4-hour break. Now we're back.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we 2 to 5 live. So if they
Right.
wanted to listen live stream or so forth, they could have, had 10 hours of us yesterday. And they can have 10 hours of us today, which would be exciting for them.
I want to spend more time with you, really.
Well, and also, it's nice that, the Gentiles get that much airtime. It's nice. Michael Medved makes way for the Gentiles. It's nice because, of course, he's observing Rosh Hashanah.
Yes.
So it was heap big fun to do his show, and so it's heap big fun to do our show. The Cubs playoff game times, Friday, Saturday games have been announced, and you have a bit of a Sophie's choice. I don't want to put it on that level, but you have a bit of a Sophie's choice to make with your tickets.
It's kind of that situation in my household right now because I won the lottery online. 2 million people applied to buy tickets. Only a few were selected, a few thousand.
Mm-hmm.
But even to get into the room, a lot of people didn't even get in to buy tickets. I was able to get 2 for Friday's game. And so that leaves
But you have 2
Peyton
boys.
or Eli.
Right.
2 boys, Peyton and Eli. So I have to decide between Andrew and Russell or Peyton or Eli on who should go to the game. And it's been really contentious in our house the past few days.
Why?
Because they're both jockeying. So that for me to pick them.
Let me give you a little parenting tip.
Oh, my God. Oh, okay. Wait, time out.
You ready?
Dan Prof's parenting tip.
Yeah,
at
it really
5:11.
should. It really should be a recurring segment.
Okay.
Because I've got a lot of advice.
Because you have a lot of experience.
Well, here's how it's settled. But I have insight. You don't have to experience something to have solutions. Remember this. The solution to this is very simple.
Yes.
You make Peyton and Eli come together and select among themselves.
Oh. Well, see, that might be a little too highbrow for a 6th and 7th grader.
I don't think so. No, you make them confer amongst themselves and decide who is more deserving of that playoff ticket, and we'll find out who's the selfless
Oh, really?
Sweeterican and who is the less selfless
The greedy
Sweeterican.
one?
And then here's the other thing. This is a great prisoner's dilemma game because they don't necessarily know what you're going to do. So just because Peyton or Eli comes forward and says, we've agreed that it shall be this one, you could flip the script and choose the one who demurred as opposed to the one who they agreed should go. So it's complicated for them.
Well, they wanted to do
This is
rock,
a good
paper,
strategic.
scissors.
It's a good strategic thinking game.
We're a little more pedestrian over at our house. They
No.
wanted to do rock, paper, scissors. They wanted
No.
to flip a coin. I had this great idea since I took Peyton to the Sox game into a suite on Friday night or Saturday night, one of their last games of the season. And thanks, Guaranteed Rate, for hosting a wonderful party.
Mm-hmm.
And I had him introduced to, what's his name? Carlton Fisk.
Mm-hmm. He's the Just for Men spokesmodel.
Yes.
And he used to play baseball.
Yeah, and he used to play baseball.
Right.
Don't ask him who he is. Hi, what's your name? Because I already did that for us. Since I took him to that game, it was such a great game, a sweet, all you can eat, and the dessert cart, that I think that I should take Russell to the Cubs
I don't
playoff
know
game.
these names. Peyton and Eli are the
I
names.
think I should
so
take
you're
Eli.
confusing me and probably
Yeah.
the listeners. I don't think that's a playoff quality action. And here's the thing. So if you're going to do some kind, see, you're making the judgment. I think this is an opportunity to see
let
what you've
them
got with
decide.
Peyton and Eli.
Okay.
Their judgment. Or you can do some kind of feat of strength like the world's strongest man,
Mhm.
like the Atlas Stones and the holding the 2 cars on a 45-degree incline. You can run a series of 5 or 6, kind of the Herculean 12, the 11 labors of Hercules.
Okay.
12 labors.
12 labors.
There's
Gosh,
11 or
Dan,
12
you're
labors of
slipping over
Hercules.
there.
So it's too early to
I don't
think about
know.
Hercules and his labor.
But you can always call in 312-642-5600 or text us at 64636DA. Then a quick comment and tell me
For what?
what you think with which child I should choose.
I
Because
just
one's
told
a
you how to-
baseball player and one is not a baseball player.
Then I just told you how to figure it out.
Okay, fine.
This
I'll
is-
let
this
them
is easy.
decide.
And
Right?
then report back to us on what they
But
decide.
it's such a historical moment. I mean, the way that our neighborhood is reacting to this, it's as if we already won the World
Right,
Series
so
and
why
we're
is it
just
a
trying
historic
to.
moment? They've won the division before.
I know, and we've won the division before.
Yeah.
And
And then
then the division. And,
Right.
Yeah.
Then this will be like 1984, and Steve Garvey will hit a couple of
2003.
couple
we
of
won the
homers,
division.
and that'll be that.
No, it's our neighborhood is already planning the parade. And that's what scares me. I mean, not only do you have the guy from
the
Iowa.
Gay Pride Parade?
No,
What parade?
the victory parade when they win the World Series.
Come on.
Everybody who has a block party that was scheduled for October 29th, that's now game 4 of the World Series. So everybody's changing their plans. One neighbor, her daughter's second wedding has been postponed because they want to go to the World Series game 4.
No, I mean, if she's done one wedding, I guess the second wedding's kind of anticlimactic.
Yeah, but still,
No,
I mean,
that's
I think
going to end.
people are ahead of their skis on this one. I want everyone to just relax and just take it game by game.
Yeah, oh boy, that's great advice. We're going to hear
That is great advice.
We're going to hear more cliches and bromides and Northside propaganda from Grant DePorter, who,
Yeah.
of course, heads up the Harry Carey's restaurant group at 5:45 when he joins us to tell us which instrument of baseball he's grinding up for consumption this year.
They're having if any of you want to start drinking right now, Harry Carey's on
I do.
Kinsey Avenue. It's open right now. The doors open at 4:30. The party starts right now. It's already started. It started 15 minutes ago. And it
Why are
goes
we
until
broadcasting from there?
10 a.m. We should be. Why aren't we? That would have been great. But Ryan Sandberg's there. Of course, Dutchie Carey, and they're kicking off the postseason play.
Rhino, huh?
Uh-huh.
Boy, I tell you what, the only one who is more dull than Tim Kaine and Mike Pence, who we'll see tonight. He's a great baseball player, but I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Okay. Well, the Plain White Tees also are that band is
boy.
performing.
So exciting.
Well, come on.
I can barely contain
It's been
myself.
108 years, man.
Larry and Bartlett.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. Amy, I can't believe you. You're a real Chicagoan, and you don't know how to make the choice. It's simple. You take the one who's got the more dirt on the other.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Have them wage a campaign. I like that, Larry.
Yeah.
That's right.
Or whoever gives me a bag of cash.
Whoever comes up with the nastiest attack ad on the other. 'Tis the season. I like that. That's not a bad idea, Larry.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
All right, 62 degrees right now. It's going to be in the mid-70s today. No chance of rain, so that's a wonderful news. Anything wonderful on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. There is a house fire in Chicago's west side, or a structure blaze. We're told it's a vacant structure. 4700 block of West Van Buren near Cicero. Metro already has a problem. The BNSF line, train due downtown at 6 this morning, is stopped with a mechanical failure. See delays on the outbound Stevenson from around Willow Springs Road to County Line. There's a crash on the right shoulder. The outbound Ryan is heavy at the south end with road work in the 2 left lanes from 81st to the split. Kennedy, no delays, but the express lanes are still closed. They were closed for overnight work. They should be reopening shortly on the inbound side. Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
No matter what type of business you're in, having a strong business banking partnership can help your bottom line. I'm Jeff Boundy, president of Cornerstone National Bank and Trust Company. We strongly believe that trust, service, and relationship are the cornerstone of a successful business banking partnership. Customers like Dr. Steichen of Northwest Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery agree.
Hi, my name is Dr. Michael Steichen of Northwest Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery in Arlington Heights, Elgin, and Lake Zurich. As an oral surgeon and business owner, I recognize the importance of relationships. I need a bank that responds quickly and creatively and understands the unique needs of healthcare practices. Cornerstone has been a valuable business partner and has helped me grow my practice and seize opportunities as they come up. Whether it's a line of credit, financing equipment, or real estate, Cornerstone is there for me.
Thank you, Doctor. Please visit cornerstonenb.com, or I invite you to give me a call at 847-654-3000 to explore a business banking partnership.
Equal Opportunity Lender, member FDIC.
Your area rugs and carpets take a lot of abuse. Imagine if you were walked on every day. All the dirt from pets, kids, and spills pushed into your poor rug and carpet fibers. It's a tough job being a floor covering. It's even tougher to get them cleaned properly. Get the job done right the first time. Call Matthew Klugian & Sons, awarded the best carpet and rug cleaner in Chicago. Since 1938, Matthew Klugian & Sons nationally recognized state-of-the-art cleaning plant and service center have been cleaning, repairing, and restoring area rugs and carpets to the highest quality possible. Klugian & Sons will clean and sanitize your dirty rugs like no other. They clean museum-quality rugs and will treat your rugs and carpets with the same exceptional care. Visit Matthew Klugian & Sons showroom at 1421 West Devon Avenue when you're searching for new or antique area rugs or custom carpeting. Now save 50% on deodorizing with an area rug cleaning order. Klugian & Sons. Find them online at KLUJIANrugs.com or call 773-743-1300.
AM 560, The Answer.
They're singing, go, Cubs, go! Go, Cubs, go!
Oh, yawn.
Stop it. Come on, even you said it's hard to hate this team because they're such talented players.
I said it's difficult to root against them because they're a likable team, and Joe Madden's a great manager, and we like the Ricketts family. At least don't like Theo Epstein.
Yeah, because he's supporting Hillary Clinton.
That's right.
Yeah. Bad Theo.
So it's difficult to root against them, but as a Sox fan, as I said before, I will find a way. I have the capacity. I will find a way, and I'm already there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How are you planning on spending your playoff weekend? I know it is Tuesday, but, people are getting ready already.
Well, I hope the Giants win the play-in game because the Mets have already beat the Cubs, so I'd prefer to see the Giants beat the Cubs just to mix it up to make it interesting for me. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
That's your only
this weekend.
request?
Yeah. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not too much to ask, is it?
No.
All right, so we got to turn to Donald Trump taxes here. Here's my opinion. If Donald Trump and Mike Pence tonight do not turn this tax flap to their political advantage, it's political incompetence. It's political malpractice. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Let's do the rundown here. No law was broken. You bet big, sometimes you lose big. He recovered from his missteps in the early 90s, something that's not unusual for an entrepreneur, to go on to build a multi-billion-dollar operation, or operations plural. This is a pedestrian portion of the tax code, this kind of lost carry forward, that is routinely used by people with significantly less means, including Hillary Clinton and the Clintons, including the New York Times that reports on this, including Mark Cuban, who slammed Donald Trump, saying the only thing more patriotic than, or the only thing more patriotic than paying your taxes is serving in the military. But for a wealthy person, the only thing more patriotic than serving in the military is paying your taxes. Mark Cuban, he had a loss carry forward too from an entrepreneurial venture at the end of the 90s. And so I'm sorry. What is the argument?
Well,
for Trump against Trump on this? What's the criticism that is legitimate, that is able to be substantiated?
Well, I think that his argument would be a lot stronger if he just released his taxes at this point. I want it to be over too. I think that this is going to sink him, but he has got to stop being a stubborn mule. He's got to stop being a stubborn mule and release his taxes.
Why is it going to sink him?
Because people think it's your civic duty to pay taxes, and he didn't do it, so he doesn't care about our military and early education and other services. End it now and release your taxes.
He didn't pay taxes?
No, he did pay taxes another way. Paid hundreds of millions of dollars in property taxes and real estate taxes.
And in every other tax, including income tax, because as the New York Times reported, perhaps the New York Times reporting conjecture, which is an interesting facet for a journalist, an interesting approach.
Come out and say I did pay, because he got an 18-year, he didn't have to pay taxes for 18 years.
No, that's not true. Possibly.
Right, possibly did, but we don't know if he did or if he didn't.
Right.
So if he did, why doesn't he come out and say, hey, I paid federal taxes after I made such and such the year after?
So I'm sorry, since you're stipulating that he's paid, I don't know, millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes over the course of his life. I'm sorry, what's the argument again? What's the argument against Trump? The substantive argument. I don't know what it is. I've heard from callers. We heard Philip, our friend from Blue Island, called yesterday. When the Medved called, we got some call from Salt Lake City. Oh, he lost. How can anybody lose $916 million in 1 year? What kind of genius is that, right, Hill Dog?
Here's my question. What kind of genius loses $1 billion in a single year?
Oh, my gosh, is that hilarious? That's the funniest thing I've ever heard. Harvard lost $2 billion on its endowment this year. The geniuses at Harvard that manage a $35 billion endowment lost $2 billion this year. 200 staff members. All these financial services experts, obviously. They're managing one of the biggest endowments in the world. They lost $2 billion. You could have hired a bunch of monkeys to throw darts at a board and probably done as well, if not better, than all of these geniuses that were managing Harvard's endowment. Because you know what? That's the nature of the business. That's the nature of trying to beat the market. That's the nature of trying to corner the real estate market.
Well, there's something wrong with our federal tax
estate.
code. And
What?
Donald Trump said that over and over yesterday when he was defending himself.
I hate the way they spend our tax dollars. And believe me, that makes a difference. As a major real estate developer in this country and throughout the world, I face enormous taxes, city taxes, state taxes, sales taxes, excise taxes, employee taxes, federal taxes, VAT taxes, different countries. It's my job to minimize the overall tax burden to the greatest extent possible, which allows me to reinvest in neighborhoods, in workers, and build amazing properties, which fuel tremendous growth in their communities, and always help our great providers of jobs, and we have to help our small businesses.
Yeah, it's pretty close. That's pretty close to an answer we should hear from Pence. Pretty close, but he needs to address all of these specious arguments that are being advanced by the left. What's wrong with that statement that he made?
That was great.
Yeah. Here's something else in New York Times. New York Times, 1995. Though there are still 4 years to go in the 90s, business and government leaders in New York honored Donald J. Trump yesterday for pulling off what they called the comeback of the decade. Mr. Trump, the developer who came to epitomize opulent wealth during the 80s before tumbling into deep financial trouble, has managed to erase much of his debt and is moving ahead with major projects at a time other developers are idling. 1995, New York Times. New York Times apparently doesn't go back into its own archives. What about that? So he had some trouble. He made some bad moves, as entrepreneurs want to do. Had some failures, as entrepreneurs have. And then he came back with 4 years to go in the 90s, what New York business and government leaders called the comeback of the decade, erasing much of his debt, moving ahead with major projects. So he's an unsuccessful businessman because he lost $916 million, according to his 95 tax return. Who wants to make that argument besides Hillary Clinton? Is that an argument that stands up on the merits? I don't think so. By the way, bad tax policy, this loss carry forward, wrong. Megan McArdle writing in Bloomberg, take this simple example offered to me by Joe Kristen, a CPA who writes for one of my favorite tax blogs. I wish we could have got this simple example from Roman Wheel from University of Chicago yesterday. Meatpacking business loses $1 million in 1 year. Then the next year it makes $1.5 million. Without the ability to carry the losses from 1 year, from year one, then over the 2 years, it would pay perhaps $600,000 worth of state and federal income taxes on $500,000 worth of actual money that it could spend to pay those taxes. You understand? I lost $1 million. I made $1.5 million, but I get to carry that loss forward, so I'm not paying just on the $1.5 million.
Okay.
So what's wrong with that? How's that bad tax policy? It's not bad tax policy. It's smart tax policy for entrepreneurs and productive risk takers like the hypothetical meatpacking facility. I want to hear the argument on this. And Trump and Pence cannot be too aggressive in pushing back against the D.C. media narrative and the rank ignorance, whether it's purposeful, willfully ignorant or unwillfully ignorant.
Well, a lot
Hillary
of Americans.
Clinton.
Well, a lot of Americans are never going to see that kind of wealth or money.
The point
or even
is,
$950
that
million.
doesn't
So
matter.
why-
That's not the point.
I'm just saying a lot of people don't understand it because we don't understand that level of tax code,
You don't,
that
understand,
bracket.
you don't understand the meatpacking example I just gave? It's the same principle.
Okay, why are you yelling
It's
at
the
me?
same principle.
I'm saying most 40% of Americans don't even know who Governor Pence and Tim Kaine are. So you're talking about tax codes for millionaires and billionaires? No, I'm not really familiar with it. Because I will never see those kind of numbers in my life.
Excuse me, the tax code applies regardless of your income level.
It's if you're a million, you pay different taxes in different amounts if you make a certain amount of money.
In different amounts, but the law is the law, isn't it?
I never said he broke the law. I was just saying that people are angry because they think it's his civic duty that he should pay taxes, but nobody, as you have said before, writes an extra check to the IRS at the end of the year because they feel like they should pay more and help out.
And Hillary Clinton talking about, oh my gosh, the idea that somebody would get money back from the government or wouldn't pay what she wants them to pay to the federal government. But of course, she has the plank in her eye of the 47% of Americans who pay no federal income taxes, who are subsidized by effectively the 10% who pay 70% of all federal income taxes. And we want to talk about fair share. Give me a break.
See Alan West, Michelle Malkin, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, Mike Gallagher, Townhall.com political editor Guy Benson, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh at Freedom Summit Chicago 2016. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com.
Concerned about your gun rights? You should be. Join other concerned citizens for a special event October 5th at the Heartland Institute with John Lott, a leading expert on gun rights. Lott's latest book, The War on Guns, is the essential resource for defending your Second Amendment rights before they're taken away forever. In The War on Guns, Lott offers the most thorough debunking yet of the so-called facts, data, and arguments of anti-gun activists, exposing how they have repeatedly twisted or ignored the real evidence that refutes their every point. Learn why gun licenses and background checks don't stop crime, how gun-free zones actually attract mass shooters, and why stand your ground laws are some of the best crime deterrents. Learn more at this free event at the Heartland Institute on Wednesday, October 5th. Doors open at 5:30 p.m. Defend the Second Amendment. Go to heartland.org or call 312-377-4000. Do it now.
AM 560, The Answer.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
a project that encourages blacks to write their own obituaries, death by police at 5:38.
and on a lighter note, Grant DePorter will join us. They're having a big party at Harry Carey's right now. He's discovered the proof that the Cubs' 108-year-long World Series drought will come to an end. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, Florida under a state of emergency as Matthew chases storms across the Caribbean, leaving behind feet of rain.
Hurricane Matthew is a deadly Category 4 hurricane and is approaching Florida. If Matthew directly impacts Florida, there will be massive destruction that we haven't seen in years.
That's Governor Rick Scott. World Vision Haiti National Director John Haas says a lot of flooding has been left behind.
In the longer term, we're going to be making sure that they have long-term access to water, and that we're going to be reducing their exposure to things like cholera, malaria, Zika, some of these water and mosquito-borne diseases that we expect with all of the flooding.
Not everyone in Haiti, according to Haas, knew how powerful Hurricane Matthew was. Republican and Democratic vice presidential nominees debating tonight. Pence and Kaine squaring off right here on AM 560 tonight, beginning at 10. Joe Walsh heads the pregame to that 90-minute prime-time debate. Pope Francis visiting one of the Italian towns devastated by August's deadly earthquake. Pope made a surprise visit to Amatrice, one of the town's hardest hit. The U.S. Supreme Court takes up Apple's patent infringement fight with Samsung later today. The court could define the value of design work. Major League Baseball's postseason gets underway tonight. A pair of American League East foes will meet, Baltimore and the Blue Jays, in a win or go home. 3 are dead, another person critically hurt following a crash on Chicago's South Side. Police continue investigating near 106th and Indianapolis. A Chicago woman standing on the sidewalk in the city's Roseland neighborhood shot to death, caught in an exchange of gunfire between two groups. No one hurt after a car crashes into a wine store in Barrington. The incident happening yesterday at Vin Chicago on Main Street. Milwaukee beat the Bulls last night in the NBA preseason, 93-91. Dwayne Wade making his Bulls debut. The news, a service of Staples with low prices on ink and toner and an in-stock guarantee to ensure you always get what you need fast. In-stock guarantee applies to in-store selection only. Out-of-stock ink and toner will be ordered from an in-store kiosk with $10 discount plus free shipping. Limit 1 cartridge per customer. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The clock is ticking. The most important political event of the year comes to Chicago on October 29th. It's Freedom Summit 2016, featuring Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, Michelle Malkin, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. And just added, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, author of Defeating Jihad. Tickets start at just $39 and are available at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists and by the Illinois Policy Institute.
Building owners, are you experiencing problems with your flat roof? Do you know where you're at in the life cycle of your roof? Install, repair, renew, or replace? One of the largest investments you will make to protect your building and its contents is the roof system on your building. So trust that investment to a proven industry leader. Trust it to Waukegan Roofing. Waukegan Roofing is a commercial and industrial low-slope roofing contractor installing roofs you can rely on since 1914. We install, service, and maintain all types of commercial and industrial low-slope roof systems for the Chicago area. We've installed millions of square feet of quality roofing systems, protecting buildings and their valuable contents for more than 100 years. So wherever you are in the life cycle of your roof, Waukegan Roofing is prepared to help you manage each stage with professional service and technical expertise. Call us today to schedule an appointment at 877-ROOF-201. That's 877-ROOF-201. Or visit us online at waukeganroofing.com. Waukegan Roofing, installing roofs you can rely on since 1914.
Illinois licensee 104000761.
Hey, we must speak out against gun control lies and the left's war on guns. Just like best-selling author John Lott Jr., who will be signing his new book, War on Guns, at Maxson Shooters on October 4th. Protecting your family and Second Amendment rights is damn important. That's why Maxson is focused on safety, proficiency, and education. Purchase John's book, have it autographed, and hear a short presentation. Learn to spot misinformation, twisted statistics, and effectively push back against gun control fictions. Maxson's is easy to reach in Des Plaines, just off of I-90 and Mount Prospect Road. For information about this event or directions, call 847-298-4867 or visit MaxonShooters.com. That's MAXON Shooters.com. Chicagoland's finest gun shop and indoor range. Don't miss this opportunity to meet John Lott at Maxson Shooters October 4th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
5:37. Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 Traffic Center time. And here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Metro reports some early delays on the BNSF line. Train 1202 is due downtown at 6 this morning, but it stopped because of a mechanical failure. The slow traffic on 8094 eastbound Burnham Avenue to Kennedy Avenue due to ongoing construction. Stop and go early on I-57 at the Bishop Ford Freeway, both running 28 minutes. I-80 to the Ryan, outbound fine at 15. The Ryan is 17 minutes, 95th to downtown. Seeing slight slowdowns now on the inbound Eisenhower and Stevenson. Traffic is a service of Napa Auto Parts. When you pick up the 99-cent reusable bag from participating Napa Auto Parts stores, you're not just getting a bag, you're getting 20% off the stuff you put in it. It's Napa know-how. While supplies last, minimum 3 items purchased. Some restrictions apply. Offer expires 10/31/16. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Areas of fog this morning. Otherwise, clouds will give way to sunshine. High near 75. Partly cloudy and mild, 61 overnight. Currently, 61 at O'Hare, 62 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 6. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the greatest financial crime in history. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Checking on your Nobel Prize Fantasy League, Amy. Who'd you have for the Nobel Prize in Physics?
You know what? I sat this one out this year. Sorry.
Oh, you're not playing?
No, but who did you choose?
I had David Thewlis, Duncan Haldane, and Michael Kostelitz. And
and let me guess, they won?
They came in.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It was
so clairvoyant.
and Kosterlitz was a late round pick by me.
Oh, really?
So it was nice on my part. The Nobel Prize in Physics for discoveries in condensed matter physics that have transformed the understanding of matter that assumes strange shapes. Using advanced mathematical models, the three scientists studied unusual phases or states of matter, such as superconductors, superfluids, or thin magnetic films. Their findings have relevance for materials science and electronics, reports the New York Times. Thulis from University of Washington, of course, Haldane from Princeton, and Kosterlitz from Brown University. So that we'll be talking about strange shapes and matter for most of the morning. So you want to stick with us on that.
That sounds like very interesting radio, as they say.
All right, we were talking about Trump's taxes. Let's go to quick call in here before we get to Black Lives Matter stuff. Bill and Elgin, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, good morning. I love your show every morning. You guys are great.
Thank you.
Yeah, just a couple comments. First of all, I don't think Trump is any different than any other American. Every other American wants to pay the least taxes possible. And, talking about what kind of genius loses $1 billion, Clinton's, Secretary of State lost $6 billion. So I think this whole thing could be turned around to the advantage of the Trump campaign. And that's my comment for your morning.
All right, thanks, Bill. Appreciate that.
Yep.
Question for you. Does reverse racism exist? Does reverse racism exist? Because Google says it doesn't.
A lot of minorities that I talk to say it doesn't exist either.
Google says only white people can be racist. Reverse racism does not exist. Racism does, if you do a Google search. Any person can be racist regardless of their own race. Wrong. No, they can't. Racism requires power and prejudice. White people have power to oppress black people because they control the system and economic structure in society. Well, is that
what do you think? Do you think
is that the case
there's
everywhere?
Reverse racism?
Is that the case everywhere, that they control the system and economic structure in society? In every instance, in every community, in every organization? Is that true? I don't think so.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line.
In Baltimore, you had the mayor, you had the city attorney, the prosecuting attorney, Mosby. By the way, Mosby and Stephanie Rawlings Blake, the former mayor, are like in a war of words over who's more incompetent. Pretty interesting.
Are they really?
Yeah.
The girls are fighting.
Yeah, they are. The police chief, I believe, is African American.
Mm-hmm.
So those are powerful positions, all held by African Americans. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think that's true, but Google says it's so. So who am I to argue with Sergey and Larry over at Google?
How old are those two cats?
Big liberals, as of course.
Well, is there reverse racism, Dan? Or is there everyone just prejudice?
There can be.
Mm-hmm.
There can be. Yes, there absolutely can be. And even if you apply the standard of requiring power or control of systems and economic structures, as Google describes it, yes, there can be. Here's something else there can be. There can be race-related violence that goes in the other direction. This story comes to us out of Alabama. Brandy Ellen in tears Sunday afternoon outside of UAB Hospital while her son, Brian Ogle, was inside recovering from an assault. Here's what happened.
Instead of us planning for his 18th birthday, we're here. Why? Because he's made a statement that he backs the blue.
Her son battling serious injuries after police say he was assaulted Friday night following his high school's homecoming game.
Apparently, he was hit with something and what is presumed to be the butt of a pistol on his face, and he has stitches, and he's got bruising, real bad bruising on his shoulder.
Police haven't determined a clear motive, but Chief Kelly Johnson said it appeared to be racially motivated and social media could be a factor.
Racially motivated. Her son's skull broken in 3 places.
Oh.
In critical condition for saying Blue Lives Matter. Related story, a new project allows black people to write their own obituaries. envisioning dying at the hands of police officers. The Black Obituary Project. Jahan Elliott Jones wrote wrote a piece about his death to create this project. He felt he could likely be shot by police and decided to write his own obituary. Jahan Elliott Jones, 24, was unarmed when shot and killed in a conflict with local police officers. And 100 obituaries have now been placed on the site since it was launched just last week. And most obituaries feature the writer dying at the hands of the cops. Kent in Lincoln Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, about the definition of racism. Yeah, I'm very confused. So countries in the Middle East that have, what we would consider in this country minorities, but in their countries they're not. So those countries aren't they don't have racism in their country, or Japan in that country there's not racism. If we've gotten to a point where it's poor African Americans and they're the only people in the world that can be oppressed, God, I don't know where we're at.
What happens when, for example, in sub-Saharan African countries where you have black individuals oppressing other black individuals?
That's a great example.
What do we have there?
They were doing the slave trade, right, Dan?
Thanks for the call, Kent. Tony on the South Side.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Morning. Listen, you guys did a great job yesterday, Michael Bedman, first of all. Very proud of you guys representing Chicago.
Thank you.
Real good job.
Thank you.
On that point, though, as far as racism, if I went to China, okay, and I was being oppressed by the Chinese, I'm a white man, would that be racism?
I don't know. But even by the Google standard, I guess that would qualify since they have power over their economic and political system.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's my point.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Tony.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
On AM 560, The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Mortgage rates have dropped again. In fact, recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. Now is the time for you to take advantage of these historically low rates and save serious money every month by refinancing your mortgage. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 3.5%, APR 3.57%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how far we can lower your mortgage payment. For 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the third year, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. This ultra-low rate of 3.5% won't last long. So call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance, but they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz at Automated Systems, when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, Call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit automatedsys.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or automatedsys.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
R1, R2, R3. Take me out to
Dan and Amy and
Dan.
The Cubs start their playoff run this Friday night against the winner of the Giants-Mets, which is, what's today? Tomorrow night,
Tonight,
right?
yeah.
They play tomorrow night?
Yep.
Jets and
The AL plays tonight, right? The National
I
League
think
plays
that's right.
tonight.
So will 108 years be the extent of the drought? Well, we'll ask Grant DePorter.
Look, you got to sound a little more excited about this. This
Grant
is very
DePorter.
exciting stuff. They're having a party right now, Dan. They're getting ready for the postseason.
Grant DePorter is the CEO of Harry Carey's Restaurant Group, and they opened their doors at 4:30 this morning to get the festivities started. Grant, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan and Amy.
Morning. So what's going on at Harry Carey's right now?
Well, we're almost packed. We opened the doors like at 4:30, and Cub fans were lined up outside. Every TV station in the city is going live in the bar right now, and it's getting crazy early. I mean, the Cubs fever has probably never been higher in our lifetime.
But why not have it on Friday morning? Why today?
Because the playoffs start today.
Okay, so this is your rally.
You got to kick it off the right way. So.
And
we thought we would be the first thing you see as the playoffs start, because the American League wild card game is tonight, National League tomorrow, and the Cubs home game is Friday.
And one of the innovations you're featuring today is a happy hour that starts at 7 a.m., which I'm all for.
Yes, it's illegal in the state of Illinois to serve liquor before 7, so that's why we're waiting. But we're doing $1.08 beers, Budweisers, from 7 to 10. $1.08. Because it's the 108th year since the Cubs last won the World Series championship.
Yeah, and you made a wonderful discovery that proves the Cubs' 108-year-long World Series drought will come to an end this year. So, I was going through this list of 108. Just go through it with us, which is the most fascinating one for you.
I'm kind of superstitious, and I believe in signs, and there's never been more signs pointing to the number 108. Everywhere I looked, there was a 108. So. Baseball in major leagues has 108 stitches. It was actually A.G. Spalding was founded in the National League. He was the Cubs' very first manager and star pitcher. He's the one that mandated you can only use his baseballs, and they have 108 stitches. His office was on 108 West Madison. Wrigley Field's left field and right field foul poles are 108 meters from home plate. In those movies that have the Cubs winning the World Series, Taking Care of Business and Back to the Future 2 are both 108 minutes long. Cub games are broadcast from the top of Willis Tower, which is 108 stories high. And we have the band Plain White Tees performing this morning. They agree, they're big Cub fans. They agreed to play. And then I checked after they committed, and they recorded 108 songs. So it just seems like everywhere you look, it's 108.
Wow, the numerology. I had no idea Grant DePorter was into numerology in addition to restaurateuring. It's very impressive.
I wrote a book about the Cubs called Hoodoo, Unraveling the 100-Year Mystery of the Chicago Cubs back in 2008, and there was signs in the book that it said it would be this year because they started talking about 108 then.
Now, what about the fact that Aroldis Chapman throws 109 miles an hour?
Uh-oh.
He does. I don't know if he goes that fast.
Oh, okay.
But
it's 108, Dan.
I don't. That wouldn't. But John Lester, the star pitcher, was born in Tacoma, Washington, what's the 108th largest city in America.
Mm-hmm.
So.
There you go, more proof. And then the Ricketts too. Their family made their fortune in Omaha, and what's the 108th relation to that?
Yeah, well, so they made their money at TD Ameritrade on 108th Street in Omaha, Nebraska. The city of Chicago, there's like 1,336 planned development numbers. Planned developments are large-scale projects with public review. Number 108 belongs to Wrigley Field.
And I love the night game. What's reference to that? With
so all the pre-expansion baseball teams had lights so they could do night games. And 1948 was the second longest wait. Now the Cubs had to wait till 1988 to have lights for night games. They had to sue the state. The Environmental Protection Agency says night games make too much noise. So they sued the state, and that lawsuit was number 108 at the Supreme Court.
So what do you think, Giants and 6? What do you?
Giants and the Mets?
No, the Giants and the Cubs. What do you think?
Do I think it's going to be the Giants and the Cubs?
I think it's going to sweep.
I want it to be the Mets so that we can get even for last year when they swept us. It's time to take our revenge on last year in 1969 as well.
Yeah, no, sure, of course. The Black Cat. What about?
No Black Cat.
What about? So give us the progression. It's the Mets, and then how does this go for the Cubs? Since you've got all this sussed out with your numerology.
Well, I think Washington, would be. I'm going to guess would be in the National Championship Series. Yeah. And then, I'm thinking Cleveland in the finals because they, after the Cubs, have the longest wait. They've waited. We've gone 108 years, so they've gone about 68 years, I think.
Yeah.
What about the Tigers?
They're not in the playoffs, so that's going to be difficult for them to win.
They didn't make even the wild card.
They did not make the wild card. I hate to break it to you. Two AL East teams, Orioles and Blue Jays. All right, Grant Porter, enjoy the festivities, and thank you for this education on numbers. Why all signs point to 108. Appreciate it. Thanks, Grant Porter, CEO of
Everyone
Hurricanes.
listening, make sure you come on down. Be with Dutchie and Ryan Sandberg, Plain White Tees, and Joel Murray.
All right. Grant
Cool.
Porter, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Grant, and go Cubs. And he joined us on our Go
Mets in
Cubs
6.
turnkey top pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hi, I'm Mary Beth. I had a failed root canal, and it was causing me pain. Dr. Neruzzi took care of my tooth, and I got my implant, and then I had another after that fail, and he did that one as well. And the experience they were amazing. It was not painful at all like I thought it was going to be, and I was very, very, very nervous about the whole thing. Nobody enjoys getting, implants or dental work, and I procrastinated, but I had to have it done. And he took me in immediately and took care of it. And he made it really affordable. They're very accommodating to people that cannot afford to have it done. I would recommend Dr. Neruzzi to anybody, and I have given him referrals. My own sister had hers done by him.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
For missing teeth, dental implants are wonderful. The advantages are fantastic. Just remember, implantsforme.com. Implantsforme.com.
I mentioned the 3 science geeks that won the Nobel Prize in Physics. Bruce emailed in some other Nobel Prize forecasts. Clinton and Kane to receive Literature Prize for Better Together. Obama to receive Economics Prize for Affordable Care Act. Clinton to receive Peace Prize for not-escalating Benghazi. Those are very good predictions. Thank you, Bruce. Is overseas uncertainty making a dent in your portfolio? Is your bank telling you that everything's going to be okay? You don't need to feel like your finances are spiraling out of control. It's time to take a different approach with Online Trading Academy. They'll teach you how to navigate the stock market during these changing times and prepare you for future market fluctuations. Online Trading Academy certified instructors teach you a rules-based strategy where you'll trade on knowledge, not speculation, so you'll be able to identify market changes before they happen. Reserve your seat today for a free half-day training course at their state-of-the-art education facility in Lombard. Call now, 877-682-2442. Mention AM560 and you'll receive a free home video study course valued at $247. Call now, 877-682-2442.
We're the 32-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. Hi, Tom Sadeka, CEO of Precision Payroll of America. If you are like me and are listening to this station, chances are we hold some common values and truths we hold self-evident. That's the main reason Precision Payroll attracts great clients and great employees. Precision Payroll of America operates at the core with fundamental principles that drive our attitude and delivery of service. We work hard to provide the best in pricing and value. In addition, with our great team that has been with us a long time, you are ensured a lasting relationship with people who understand your needs and always stand ready to serve. What sets us apart is that we view what we do as a great opportunity to serve others in a professional and technical capacity while building long-lasting relationships. That's what we treasure. If this message hits home, please call me at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507 or on the web at precisionpayroll.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 6:06, 2 liberal U.S. Senate candidates appear before the Tribune editorial board.
And it's debate night for the running mates. What do you want to hear and learn from them? But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, 3 are killed, 1 critically hurt in a Chicago crash. CPS announcing more layoffs a week before a possible strike. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Donald Trump says what he did with his taxes was legal and brilliant.
The benefit of my company, my investors, my employees, my family.
This after a report showing he wrote off huge business losses in 1995 to probably pay no federal income taxes for years.
Seems he was contributing nothing to our nation.
Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump will take a back seat tonight, though. Their running mates could return in the spotlight in their only debate. Fox's Rachel Sutherland will be there and now live in Virginia.
Republican Mike Pence and Democrat Tim Kaine will square off at Longwood University in Farmville, Virginia. Both men are Catholic and veteran politicians with executive experience. Look for them to compare their records as governors. Pence says when Kaine was governor of Virginia, he tried to pass massive tax hikes.
State of Indiana, I've signed more than $3.5 billion in tax relief for working families, small businesses, and family farms.
The candidates are also expected to defend the top of their respective tickets. Kaine gets the first question of the 90-minute debate. Dave.
Rachel, Hurricane Matthew is battering Haiti, a monster storm with a 145-mile-an-hour wind that could dump 3 feet of rain on some areas.
Flash flooding and mudslides, a big concern for Haiti and the Dominican Republic. And the other big consideration is all of the ocean water levels are above normal, and they can generate a significant storm surge.
John Cangelosi at the National Hurricane Center. Matthew could also hit parts of Cuba, then the Bahamas. After that, maybe the U.S. East Coast.
Although Matthew is not projected to directly impact Florida at this time, that could quickly change.
So Florida Governor Rick Scott has declared a state of emergency. The storm track has Matthew very close to Florida, then moving north. More than half of North Carolina is also under a state of emergency. Scientists who worked at the University of Washington, Princeton, and Brown sharing the Nobel Prize for Physics this year for their work on matter that could result in improved materials for electronics. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
60 degrees, cloudy skies this morning. 6:02 is our time on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. 3 are dead, a person critically hurt. It follows a crash on Chicago's South Side, where authorities say a motorcycle and van collided at 106th and Indianapolis. Chicago woman standing on a sidewalk in the city's Roseland neighborhood shot to death. She was caught in an exchange of gunfire between two groups. 21-year-old Adriana Mays was with a toddler when she was shot next to her automobile on Chicago's South Side. Chicago Public Schools announcing they will lay off about 250 teachers and staff members due to a steeper than expected decline in enrollment. The layoffs announced yesterday are in addition to the more than 500 teachers and support staff let go in August due to declining enrollment. Republican U.S. Senator Mark Kirk, Democrat U.S. Representative Tammy Duckworth have agreed to 3 televised debates, 2 in Chicago. The U.S. Senate candidates faced off yesterday in a live-streamed event before the Chicago Tribune editorial board. A judge in northern Indiana entering a not guilty plea for an Indiana woman accused of smothering her 2 young children after taking them from their grandparents who had legal custody. Judge also appointed a public defender for 29-year-old Amber Pastor, who remains in custody without bail. The University of Illinois says it's drawing up plans to renovate the south and east sides of Memorial Stadium. It is a $132 million project. School says, however, that money will come from donations and Department of Intercollegiate Athletics revenue, not from taxpayers. Milwaukee beat the Bulls in the NBA preseason 93-91. Rick Renteria promoted to managing the White Sox on the South Side. The news, a service of CarMax, America's #1 used car retailer. Upfront prices, no obligation appraisals. CarMax takes the stress out of buying and selling cars. Drive what's possible at CarMax, America's #1 used car retailer. 6:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You need to understand that the way you build wealth is you do not use the evening news or CNN or Fox to set the tone of your emotions around your investing.
The Dave Ramsey Show.
If you're thinking of changing your investing patterns because you're watching the news, you need to turn off the news. You are in charge of your destiny.
Dave Ramsey. Weeknights starting at 7. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
you're listening to the sound of an actual heart beating outside of a human body. Thanks to modern technology, a doctor can now keep a donor heart beating until it's ready to be transplanted into its recipient. Yet if our doctor wanted to transfer a phone call from her desk phone to her cell, she couldn't, because her phone system can't do that. At Vonage, we think it's about time business communications caught up. See what Vonage can do for your business at Vonage.com/it'sabouttime.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that you're probably driving right now. Sitting comfortably behind the wheel with a tasty caffeinated beverage in your cup holder. Well, if you were driving with Uber, you could be earning money right now too. That's because Uber is the ultimate side hustle. Extra cash whenever you want. Earning you can turn on and off, just like your car. This isn't just another job, it's a totally flexible way to earn. So go ahead, get your side hustle on. Visit uber.com/drive now. That's uber.com/drive now.
6:05. Let's check the roads this morning. AM 560 Traffic Center. Lots of folks driving. Jim Telemonte?
That's right, especially on eastbound 8094 bike. It's really jammed up from Torrance Avenue in Lansing across the state line to Indianapolis Boulevard due to ongoing road construction there. Chicago's west side is to closure after earlier fire. Van Buren, Kilpatrick, and Cicero. Cicero buses are being rerouted. Edens is fine, so is the Kennedy at the moment. About Eisenhower. 41 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 31 to Stevenson. 44 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. To Ryan is 21 minutes, 95 to the Loop. I-57 to Issue Ford, both running about 32 minutes from I-80 to the Merge. Northbound Lakeshore Drive has delays. Roosevelt to Jackson because of traffic signal issues. Traffic is a service of Staples. Staples has low prices on ink and toner and an in-stock guarantee to ensure you always get what you need fast. In-stock guarantee applies to in-store selection only. Out-of-stock ink and toner, if you order from in-store kiosk, $10 discount plus free shipping. Limit 1 cartridge per customer. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's the very latest with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Areas of fog for the morning, otherwise clouds give way to some sun today. High 75. Tonight, partly cloudy and mild, low 61. Warm tomorrow with intervals of clouds and sunshine. Becoming breezy in the afternoon with a shower or thunderstorm around. High 77. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 62. Next news at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by On Target Radio, the show dedicated to the red meat issues, including gun control, privacy, and freedom of speech. Heard Sunday nights at 9 p.m.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. You think the choices for President of the United States are dismal. How about the choices for U.S. Senate in Illinois? Mark Kirk and Tammy Duckworth. They appeared before the Tribune editorial board yesterday. We'll talk about it today, like isn't right now.
Yes.
And
we'll take your calls. 312-642-5600 is the turnkey.pro answer line. 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
Anybody going to abstain from voting for Mark Kirk? Who's on the center-right perspective? Any Republicans out there going to skip that race, even if you're coming out to vote for president and other down-ballot races?
I don't know, Dan. What are you going to do? Because I have an option for you. If you vote for Mark Kirk, I'll vote for Donald Trump. If you don't vote for Mark Kirk, I won't vote for Donald Trump.
No.
No?
I don't make deals.
Okay, but what about Tammy Duckworth then? If you don't vote for Mark Kirk and a lot of Republicans that are going to sit this one out, then she's guaranteed a victory.
Yeah.
Do you want Mark Kirk to lose his seat?
When Mark Kirk loses the seat, and that's going to happen, he will have conservatives to remember for the end of his political career. And that's how it should be, because he is the one who declared war on conservatives. He is the one who spends most of his time attacking the conservative base of the party. And more importantly than all of that, because it's not personal for me, it's policy. All politicians is vehicles for policy. I don't fall in love with them. I'm not interested in their storied backgrounds and their Horatio Alger tales of triumph. All I care about is what they're going to do as the office holder, and here's what Mark Kirk has done. Voted against poor minority children with respect to the D.C. School Opportunity Scholarship Program. Supported the big government cap and trade program that would have been a massive carbon tax and decimated the energy sector of our economy. He supported that previously. He has funded. He wants to fund after the revelations about Planned Parenthood illegally trafficking in baby body parts. He still wants to send $500 million of everybody's money to Planned Parenthood. For what exactly? I could go on.
Yeah.
But those are just a few of the highlights. In addition to, as he mentioned at the editorial board yesterday, breaking from the party to take the position, let's hold a hearing on Merrick Garland, Obama's nominee for Supreme Court justice. Let's turn that into a circus, and let's turn that to the advantage of the left in this presidential election year when there's no need to do so. And there's no compunction the Senate has to take up that nomination. And, of course, we know the history of Democrats doing similarly.
The way we move forward on the Supreme Court justices is to have a hearing. I have already written to my colleagues to ask for a hearing.
But Dan, yesterday he said that he is the glue that holds the Senate together.
Yeah.
I have sought to be the glue in the Senate to make sure that things happen.
He's like Sergeant Hulka. He's the big toe of this platoon. Illinois,
One person
a nice
tweeted,
proxy for stripes.
He's the crazy glue that holds the Senate.
Yeah.
That's what one person put on
Not
social
bad.
media yesterday.
He's the glue holding the Senate together, is he?
That's yeah. Did I learn anything from watching this debate? Tammy Duckworth seems like a very strong candidate. That's what I learned. But I don't
I'm
stand
sorry.
with her politically, and that's why I have
Tammy
to vote
Duckworth.
for Tammy Duckworth.
She's a strong candidate on what basis?
I'm saying during that debate that they had, she seemed to lead the charge, if you know what I'm saying. She seemed very polished and assertive. And
Tammy Duckworth has served our country heroically. She did serve our country heroically.
Mm-hmm.
As a political candidate, she is nothing more than a roll call vote for the left.
oh yeah,
They
created her.
There is not an independent thought bouncing around between her ears. But
No, she's definitely a puppet for the Democratic Party. But
the flip side of that is, I mean, if you're thinking about Mark Kirk, what is it that you can't wait for Mark Kirk to do if he were reelected? What's the one thing you can't wait for Mark Kirk to do? You're going to hang your head on. I mean, I'll hear out the argument that, good Republicans, conservatives should hold their nose and vote for Mark Kirk because that's the only way you could possibly vote for Mark Kirk. But what's the one thing? Just give me one thing. Can't wait for him to do. It's so important he's in the Senate because of this one thing. What is it?
Well, I want him to reverse his vote on funding Planned Parenthood.
Well, he's not going to
and
do
we
that.
know that he only did that because he's trying to not lose female voters in his mushy, moderate Republican world he lives in.
I want him to reverse all kinds of votes, but he's not going to do that. That would be nice.
That was my
answer. Yeah.
What would you like?
I mean,
him to do?
he's in this campaign. He's running against Donald Trump. You've seen the ads.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
He's spending his time attacking the Republican Party nominee for President of the United States. But nonetheless, we should all fall in line for him. So this is this is the problem I have with some moderate Republicans. Not all, but Mark Kirk's a good example. Everybody should fall in line for him. But when it's a nominee they don't like, usually a conservative, I'm not calling Trump one, but it's usually a conservative. Oh, that person's too conservative, so forth. No, can't do it. Sorry. This is where I'm going to display my no labels independence. Okay. But we're supposed to fall in line for you, even as you declare war and take a vitriolic posture towards all kinds of base, free mind, and free market policy prescriptions. I don't think so. I'm sorry. Chip in St. Charles.
Mark Kirk's been known to endorse Democrats. I was wondering before the debate was over if he got around to endorsing Tammy Duckworth.
It's a good question, Chip. Amy listened to it, so we didn't have to. Was there a Mark Kirk endorsement of Duckworth?
There wasn't. But at the end, you listen carefully. They are going to debate on television.
Be fine with me to do that too. Laurie. People would see that.
ABC. I would love to do ABC 7.
Okay, and Tammy Duckworth will do it only if it's ABC 7. So they're going to debate on television. So now you guys can watch the next one.
Wow.
And you'll learn so much.
I can't wait for that debate. I mean, really, on so many levels. Nancy in St. Charles.
Hey, I love your show. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
I just want to say that I'm going to endorse Chad Copey. He's a write-in candidate. He filed the appropriate paperwork to be a write-in candidate because us conservatives need a voice. And whether he makes it or not, I don't know, but I cannot give my vote to Mark Kirk.
All right, thanks, Nancy. Joe in Burbank.
Yeah, I'm not going to make that mistake again of voting for Mark Kirk. I made that mistake the last time, and I swore I will never vote for that man again.
All right, thanks, Joe. Mike in Marengo.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, if he should happen to win and he serves another term in Senate, I wish that he would just drop out of the Republican Party. Other than Jim Edgar and Kevin Kensinger supporting him, I don't know any Republican that does.
All right, thanks.
Well, Governor Ronner's
Thanks for the call,
supporting him.
Mike. Yeah.
Governor
Ronner. And who was trying to go against him, or he said that he might run against him, and Governor Ronner kind of stepped in and said, no, we are all, as a party, backing Mark Kirk.
Well, there was an opportunity to launch a primary challenge against Mark Kirk.
Yes, thank you.
And governor and his people were not on board with that idea. They were wrong. They were wrong to not get on board with that idea. They were wrong to allow a Mark Kirk with the current trajectory. By the way, they believe Mark Kirk is going to lose this race. So it's not like they endorse Mark Kirk. He's our only chance to win. They believed he's going to lose, and they did at the time.
So is this insider information? I've never heard this before.
Their position was, well, he'll do less damage than any other possible candidate as our nominee for U.S. Senate, less damage down ballot. It is the philosophy of defeat. It's the philosophy of the super minority culture for Republicans in Illinois. And I vociferously disagree with the approach they took, even though I support the governor and the turnaround agenda and work constructively with them on legislative matters. But I think that is absolutely was the wrong decision to make. And now we're going to bear the consequences of it. Tom in Deer Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Well, it's a moot point because he's not going to get reelected. But I want to ask you the question: if he was to, what's the constitutional provision to replace him as it's a long 6-year term? Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Tom. Well, I mean, there's if he were to vacate the seat for any reason, there would be an appointment and then an election at the next regularly scheduled election. Or, we could just sell the Senate seat like we usually do.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
House of Horror, the Black Lives Matter. Coming up next, trick or treats. One Halloween display has got some people concerned, and it has to do with Black Lives Matter. Here's your forecast for today. We're going to have some clouds giving way to some sun by this afternoon. Just a glorious day, a high of 75 degrees. Tonight, a low of 61. And for tomorrow, it's going to be warm with some sun, breezy in the afternoon, and a thunderstorm in spots, even warmer than today, a high near 80 degrees. Let's get those travel times and say good morning once again to Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Amy. Eastbound 8094, it's stop and go from Torrance Avenue to Indianapolis Boulevard due to ongoing road construction. The Eden Spur has delays from Waukegan Road to the Edens. Past that, it's still good. 19 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, and outbound the same. The Kennedy, 24 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. The Eisenhower, 45 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 33 minutes. Stevenson now 49 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive has heavy delays, Roosevelt to Jackson, where the signals are flashing red. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Here's David Kolsak, president of Turnkey IT, on how they do business differently.
It's been 20 years, and the business has changed probably 40 times in 20 years because technology changes every year, and you have to stay with it. You have to know where it's going and prognosticate where that is, and our clients really benefit from our knowledge and our experience and the way that we're reading the roadmap. We're putting them on things that are coming out in the future, and if it's not beneficial to the client, we won't be putting them on there. And a lot of people just fly by the seat of their pants. We have a director of information technology that his job job is only to scout new technologies and how they can affect a small business. Every business, no matter if it's a funeral home, a manufacturer, a car dealer, whatever, we all rely on our information. And when that information isn't available, your business is shot. So our main purpose is to really do our very best to keep people up 100% of the time, to keep them backed up and make sure that they can do what they do and we can deal with the technical stuff.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros at Turnkey so you can focus on the important things of your business. Visit turnkey.pro today.
Townstone Financial is synonymous with great rates, low closing costs, and phenomenal service to the thousands who have completed purchases and refinances with us since 2002. Hi, my name is Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
I'm Dave Reef, and I just did a refinance with Townstone Financial. I was particularly impressed with Townstone Financial and the way they work to accommodate our schedule. With both my wife and I working, we really had trouble finding time to get all the paperwork together and sign the documents. Townstone Financial went above and beyond in working with us and ensuring that we locked in the lowest possible rate so we could cash out so we could purchase a new parking spot in our condominium.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now, Barry Sterner, 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639. Equal housing lender.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about balance of nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take balance of nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true, and it's only natural.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so we've tackled one manufacturer controversy by the Washington Press Corps. That's Trump's 95 tax return, or 3 pages of it. And now we've got another one brewing, Amy.
Yeah, and this one happened yesterday when Donald Trump was speaking in front of a group talking about the VA and how they're treated. And the headline was, military suicides happen to service members who can't handle it. And people were outraged. Joe Biden said, here's another reason why he can't be president. So here, I want you to listen carefully. This is exactly what Donald Trump said.
When you talk about the mental health problems, when people come back from war and combat and they see things that maybe a lot of the folks in this room have seen many times over, and you're strong and you can handle it, but a lot of people can't handle it. And they see horror stories, they see events that you couldn't see in a movie, nobody would believe it.
Does that offend you in any way, Dan, what Donald Trump just said?
No, I mean, no, it doesn't. When he said they can't handle it, I don't think that's a commentary like they're weak. I think it's just that you see things that people have different thresholds for trauma, and you see things and it affects different people differently. There's no question about it. I don't think that minimizes PTSD, the reality of it, and I don't think it's some kind of negative comment about soldiers who suffer from PTSD after their service or other kinds of trauma after their service. I didn't
hear anything disrespectful in that. I mean, that's what you have to read past the headlines. But the front page of the Daily News today is a picture of a soldier who committed suicide, and it says the headline is "My son was not weak."
Yeah, well, the Daily News is a left-wing tabloid,
I understand that, but CNN throwing fuel on the fire. I'm saying that was very insensitive, and it lacked judgment.
I think what critics, Ellis, say is that I don't think anyone questions that Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton and any elected official in America right now is committed to the well-being of our veterans. But it shows a lack of sensitivity in the language surrounding an issue which is of great interest and great concern to a lot of people, right? There are people who devote their lives to dealing with post-traumatic stress, PTS, and one of the things they are devoted to is the notion that it can happen to anyone. It's not about being strong or about being weak. It's about having traumatic stress, and it's an incredibly difficult for anyone to deal with, and that's what people who are in the movement struggle with.
Look,
but that was the context there.
Well, that's John Berman from CNN.
He didn't say strong or weak. People are imputing those words into what he said. We've talked ad nauseum about Trump's lack of precision with the language, and it gets him into trouble, and it's unnecessary. And I wish he was more thoughtful, but he's not. I wish he was more precise with language, but he's not, and he's not going to be. But here, again, I guess, is the contrast and the choice. Trump's imprecision with language, when you have even a left-winger on CNN suggesting, of course, they want the best for veterans. So his language about the topic versus the Obama-Clinton regime's performance for veterans. Like the 250,000 veterans who died waiting for health care services they were promised by the VA. So which is more offensive to you, Joe and Sally Boder? The performance of Obama and Clinton with respect to veterans and what they are guaranteed and what they deserve and what they were promised in terms of the quality of health care they access in a timely manner, or Trump's imprecision with language?
I'm going to have to go.
With
Trump's, nothing that he said there offended me. And I think I'm starting to actually really believe that the mainstream media is completely in the tank for Hillary Clinton. And I know you've been saying it all along, and you've been showing me examples all along. But this one, for me, that was my aha moment where I thought, oh, they are really picking at straws here, trying to find something newsworthy in some way to slam and ruin the character of Donald Trump.
Yeah, I think
you've been telling me that for the past 20 months.
I think that's a reach. But
I mean, that jolted me out of bed. And I thought, are you kidding me? There's no there.
Well, it was interesting because when we did the Michael Medved show yesterday afternoon, and we heard this clip. Yeah. And we both listened to it, and we're like, is that something? Should we tackle that? Like, no. I mean, that's kind of a nothing. What's the big deal? And then, of course, you have left-wing outlets like New York Daily News, and then CNN picks it up because it's a salacious cover on the New York Daily News, and then somebody else will pick it up
on the air this morning.
Right,
look,
then
my
it'll be on,
son was not weak.
And it'll be on Daily Beast, and then we'll re-enlist the Khan family to demagogue the issue too while we're at it.
How are the Khans doing?
John and McHenry, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you this morning?
Good.
The thing that drives me really crazy about this, two things. First off, anybody who's voting for Trump is going to vote for Trump. This isn't going to change anything. This is sort of one of those things that's just like, okay, for some people, this is the reason that he sort of endears themselves with them. But what's even more shameful is the fact that Democrats and the drive-by liberal media are using this themselves as an opportunity to make political hay. We have 22 on average veterans or active service members or reserves kill themselves daily. And for them to try to make political hay out of this, shame on them themselves, and quite frankly, they should all be run out of town.
And John, are you a service member?
I am. I'm an active reservist myself.
All right. Thanks for the call, John. Appreciate it. Appreciate your service.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
As a business owner or HR director, you've seen medical plans disappear. You've seen deductible and co-payment and total out-of-pocket expenses skyrocket, and the new prescription plans are a joke. You've been forced to accept the Obamacare-compliant plans, while at the same time, labor organizations and other friends of the establishment have been given special exemptions. Thankfully, the market for group health insurance has caught up, and some companies we work with can now offer these same ACA-exempt policies for your employees. My name is Greg Eck, president of Beneficial Solutions. Our team has been reacting to ever-changing insurance markets for the past 25 years. Beneficial Solutions will arm your company with the latest tools to protect your business from potential ACA penalties and make the most of your employee benefit dollars. Call us now so we can game plan before open enrollment season arrives. at 630-717-8282. That's 630-717-8282. Or find us online at beneficialsolutions.com.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I'll do a little campus watch roundup. Duke offering a safe space to for men to contemplate their toxic masculinity, and exploring the vectors of wearing a skirt while working out at Florida State. 6:36.
You're telling me the skirt is back? I love the skirt. It's like jorts.
Wearing one right now.
Yeah.
Very
good.
comfortable.
Just don't wear those jorts. Now here's Mike Scott with news from here at home and around the world.
62 degrees, cloudy skies. Florida bracing for a major hurricane as Matthew spins past Haiti, leaving behind as much as 40 inches of rain in spots and severe flooding in the Bahamas. Donald Trump getting heat for another one of his comments, criticism this time about vets, they say, suffering from some mental health issues.
When you talk about the mental health problems, when people come back from war and combat and they see things that maybe a lot of the folks in this room have seen many times over, and you're strong and you can handle it, but a lot of people can't handle it.
Trump made those comments in full context with a discussion with veterans in Virginia, and critics are piling on this morning, including the presidential campaign of Hillary Clinton, focusing on Michigan with relatives of the Democratic nominee rallying voters, former President Bill Clinton and others, with crowds in Flint.
If we do not undertake a major plan to rebuild America's roads and bridges and ports and airports and water systems.
He also told yesterday's gathering of Clinton supporters strict financial regulations will help with a debt-free college plan. The Nobel Prize in Physics is being shared. One half goes to the University of Washington's David Thewlis. The other half split by Duncan Haldane of Princeton, Michael Kosterlitz of Brown University. 3 are dead, another person critically hurt. It follows a crash on Chicago's South Side last night between near 106th and Indianapolis Avenue. More cuts for the Chicago public schools. Layoffs of 250 teachers and staff members due to declining enrollment. NBA preseason, Dwayne Wade made his debut, hit a couple of three-pointers, but Milwaukee won the game 93-91 over the Bulls. Rick Renteria, your new leader for the Southside White Sox. Hawks defenseman Nicholas Hjalmarsson suspended for the rest of the preseason for charging a Blues player during a preseason game. The news, a service of 7-Eleven. October 3rd through the 9th at 7-Eleven, you have freedom to choose any size cup of hot coffee, free through the 7-Eleven app. 7 days, 7 cups of coffee, 7 reasons why you can go on with your caffeinated self at participating locations. Limited time offer. Taxes may apply. 6:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher reacts to the first presidential debate.
Lester Holt was a joke. Lester Holt challenged Trump on his answers 6 times. With follow-up questions, ask me how many times Lester Holt challenged Hillary. Try 0. So here's Trump, once again, having to fend off everybody, the moderator and his opponent.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Plus up your day with Centrum Silver multivitamins, upgraded with more vitamin D3. It's a healthy addition you can feel good about.
Hi, my name is Yvonne Florzak-Seaman, and I am the president of Love from Above, Inc. We are hosting our conference, The Power of Mercy, at the Rosemont Convention Center on Saturday, October 8th. As a woman, do you feel your voice is being heard? This election through the women's movement has reduced us to abortion and the lie that abortion is good health care. However, what about the emotional, physical, and psychological aftermath of abortion? The increase of breast cancer. As women, it is time to take back our power by exposing Planned Parenthood's population control agenda on women. The women's movement will no longer speak for us. If these issues resonate, I implore you to come October 8th to the Rosemont Convention Center. Time is running out. Join us today and be heard in the most important election of our lifetime. Contact us at lovefromaboveinc.com or 1-866-TIME2-SPEAK. Sponsored by Power, the protectors of women's equal rights.
Our time is 6:35. Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 Traffic Center time. The latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The eastbound Edensburg has delays from Waukegan Road to the Edens. The delays resume at Dempster. It's 24 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. To Kennedy, 32 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown. The Eisenhower, 53 minutes. Thorndale to Post Office, outbound 33. Stevenson, 49 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Just had a crash reported at Lamont Road in the right lane. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 31 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Mission Forward, 35. Northbound Tri-States, though, 95th to 47. Ogden to 31st. To Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway slow, 53 to Arlington Heights Road. And for the Des Plaines Oasis to Kennedy westbound, a little heavy as well near Arlington Heights Road after a collision. Traffic service, Staples. Staples has low prices on ink and toner and an in-stock guarantee to ensure you always get what you need fast. In-stock guarantee applies to in-store selection only. Out-of-stock ink and toner, you order from an in-store kiosk with $10 discount plus free shipping. Limit one cartridge per customer. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Fog this morning. Clouds give way to sunshine. We'll top out at 75, 61 and mild overnight, and maybe a thunderstorm tomorrow. 61 at O'Hare, 62 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is powered by CharlesEquipment.com, keeping the lights on through summer storms.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Doing a little Campus Watch segment, updating some institutions for higher learning where you're thinking about wasting your money to send your kids. You may want to think a second time, as our friend Dennis Prager might say. Duke University offering a safe space for men to contemplate their quote-unquote toxic masculinity.
Since when was masculinity toxic?
Since
it's
forever.
Something that ladies like. A nice masculine male. We'll be right back.
Well, first of all, I'm offended that they're even identifying people by gender. I assume this is a choice, though, so that's okay. The Duke Men's Project, that sounds a little patriarchal.
The Dukes?
Launched this month and hosted by the Campus Women's Center. Boy, I'm confused. Wait, the Duke Men's Project, hosted by the Campus Women's Center, Cats and Dogs Living Together, offers a 9-week program for male-identified students. Oh, thank you. Finally. Some tolerance. That discusses male privilege, patriarchy, the language of dominance, rape culture. How about false rape culture, Duke Lacrosse? Pornography, machismo. And other topics. Machismo for you Scarfaces out there. The student newspaper's editorial board endorsed the new program yesterday, insisting it was not a re-education camp being administered by an oppressed group in the service of the feminization of American society. when they say that, what they mean is it's a re-education campaign administered by an oppressed group in the service of the feminization of American society. So there's Duke, one of the leading lights of academia. The goal of the project, according to one of the members of its leadership team, is for male students to critique and analyze their own masculinity and toxic masculinities to create healthier ones. Ladies, the Duke Men's Project has a lot of available bachelors who were very in touch with their toxic masculinities. Enjoy life with those cake eaters. Holy goodness.
It's got to be hard to be a white male these days, especially at a campus, because you're just because you're a man, you're automatically a possible rapist.
Not if you
you have been labeled a possible rapist.
Not if you embrace it. It's not. Not if you're a grown-up about it. It's not. If you, leave your masculinity in your mom's purse, then I suppose it is difficult
but don't
on
we
campus.
want strong men out there?
Strong men.
312-642-5600. It's strong, respectful men. Maybe
That's a hostile statement. What you're doing is you're appealing to toxic masculinities. Strong men? You know what I hear when you say that?
What do you hear?
Oppressor.
I mean, it's got to be hard walking around campus with people always looking over their shoulder. It's a guy. Maybe he's going to rape me. Might attack me.
It's no more difficult than trying to work out in a skort.
Wait. Okay, first of all, I'm going to go on record saying skorts, that's the skirt shorts, right? Your skort.
Correct.
I have a ton of those.
I wear those in the summer months.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, can I have my pink pair back?
Yeah.
You said you were going to bring those back for October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month for me. And yeah, I don't have them yet.
Sporting a skort, the biopolitics of materiality.
The bio?
That's a study that you can read.
Wait. The bio, tell me one more time. The biopolitics?
Sporting a skort, the biopolitics of materiality. This is by deep thinker M. Katie Flanagan. Oh, she's got a first initial with a period. She must be an intellectual. She is apparently a professor at Florida State University.
Stop.
And you can check out this study while you're watching tonight's vice presidential debate because you'll be bored to tears, I have no doubt.
I can't wait for the debate.
Let me summarize this research project Professor Flanagan from Florida State University conducted. The article explores the intersecting vectors of power, surveillance, and identity relating to technologies of material culture as located within the so-called skort or running skirt. It presents a cultural history of the skort, situating it within historical debates over femininity and sport, and contemporary arguments over the commercial branding of the feminine ideal. The author also presents and discusses the findings of her participant observation that she performed in a group fitness studio on multiple occasions, dressed in 3 different exercise outfits, a running skirt, a pair of shorts, and a sweatsuit. I mean, aren't you just abuzz with anticipation to how this turned out?
How does it end? Please. Don't leave me waiting.
I don't know because I'm not paying $40 to Sage Publications to get the full article because why would I? But it sounds like she wore some workout clothes to a fitness center and people looked at her. I think that's the upshot of this study.
People look at people all the time at fitness centers.
Making sure.
That's what you do when you go to fitness centers because you look at somebody else and say, I wish I had their physique. Maybe I'll work out harder.
I'll tell you what, if you're sending your kids down to Tallahassee to do the Seminole Tomahawk chop down in Seminole land.
The biopolitics of material?
Make sure you look up M. Katie Flanagan because you're going to want to make sure your young one signs up for her classes. Campus Watch, not limited to college. How about a high school in Oregon? Coming under some fire from parents after students in one class were assigned a white privilege survey, leading to accusations the school is trying to push a particular brand of politics. Oh, really? Do you think? Aloha High School in Oregon, somewhere in Oregon. Students responded to statements including, I can be in the company of people of my race most of the time. I can be pretty sure that my neighbors in such a location will be neutral or pleasant to me. I'm never asked to speak for all the people in my racial group. The one parent said, I think he should be learning of his son. Think he should be learning actual education and not be a part of some social experiment or some teacher's political agenda. Well, that's hostile. That's a hostile response, isn't it? Yeah. So have you Aloha County, this is Aloha County, Oregon. I'm surprised you haven't, Peyton and Eli haven't brought home a white privilege survey from CPS.
No, they just get transgressions. So far.
What's a transgression?
So if they do something out of line, so for instance, one of the kids who's African American was doing the Pledge of Allegiance and it's kind of one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And he sat down when he said justice for all, and he got a transgression. And so if you get 3 transgressions, then you have to go to the principal's office.
That's a demerit.
So basically. A demerit, yeah, but they call them transgressions. And yesterday, Russell got 2 transgressions, one for showing up late to school, which he has never done. Babysitter, no.
Oh, sure.
Blame the babysitter.
Blame shifting.
And then he got, he said something about, it's so stupid, but he got a transgression for it in art class. He spoke out of turn and got a transgression. But they have to tell me about their transgressions when we get home, so we have to discuss them, and then I have to sign a paper saying that I know about their transgressions.
So 3 transgressions, you go to the principal's office. 4 transgressions, you go to the hole. Is that it? Solitary for a month?
Yeah. You're going down to the hole.
In a related story, the Black History Museum, the Black History Smithsonian that opened?
Oh, yeah.
National Museum of African American History and Culture, to be specific.
Oprah and Will Smith, they were very big and instrumental in getting that
I bet they were.
together and getting artifacts for the museum.
And all those academics that influence the displays, the exhibits at our nation's museums and cultural institutions. Remember we talked yesterday about the partisan affiliation of professors in the various disciplines, including history, at the top 40 universities, 33-1 Democrat to Republican. Maybe that's why Clarence Thomas, the second black man to serve in the U.S. Supreme Court, is absent from the National Museum of African American History and Culture, while Anita Hill has profile in a exhibit that recounts the important events of the 90s.
They have Anita Hill.
That's what you do. You seed your K through 12, pre-K through post-secondary, actually. You seed all that, and the left rewrites history and rewrites you right out of it if you're not bowing to the orthodoxy. Bob in Waukegan, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, this kind of stuff makes my head explode. It makes me wonder why more people don't go postal. Anybody who doesn't say the Pledge of Allegiance should have their citizenship taken away from them. Because, basically when you apply for citizenship in the U.S., you say that you pledge allegiance to the United States of America above everybody else. So if you can't stand to do that, or you can't stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, or you think you're, I grab my white privilege and run with it, because I'm a walking. What did they say the person was? A walking intolerant.
You have a lot. Yeah, you're toxic male. You're toxic.
I'm so white and intolerant, I can't stand it.
All right.
So they should. They should make schools have Western civilization taught by conservatives, and any school that has a black privilege program should be taken off sponsorship from taxes.
Thanks for your male toxicity, Bob.
I mean,
appreciate that.
the potential damage you display just by existing. How do you deal with yourself?
Well, I'll tell you what, if Bob isn't happy about what's going on at Duke and elsewhere, Florida State, not going to be happy.
Wait, there's more?
Not going to be happy about what former Bull Joakim Noah did. He's now a member of the Knicks, and we'll have that after this.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Nice day in store for us. We're going to have to get through these clouds in the early morning hours and make some way for some sunshine by this afternoon. A high of 75 degrees. Tonight, a low of 61. And for tomorrow, it's going to be warm around here. Breezy in the afternoon. Can't rule out a thunderstorm, but a high of 78 degrees. Let's get those travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Northbound I-55 is jammed. Weber to Lamont Road with a crash of the two right lanes. And it's slow First Avenue to Kedzie. An hour and 10 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. 42 minutes from the Tri-State. Edens has delays on the spur, then it's very slow Glenview Road to the junction. 31 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. Kennedy, 42 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 37. The Ike, 53 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 59. There's a crash at Wolf Road in the right lane. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State slow 115th, most of the way to 31st. Then from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, Adams Tollway delays, Higgins to Barrington, and 53 to Arlington Heights Road. And it's very slow, the Des Plaines Oasis to Kennedy, eastbound 8094. It is bottled up from the Bishop Ford Freeway to Indianapolis Boulevard, thanks to construction. That's traffic, AM 560, The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Businesses throughout the Caribbean bracing for Hurricane Matthew's impact. Manufacturing up last month, Florida in a legal battle over casinos. Those stories are next.
Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. The stock market crash of 2008 wiped out as much as 50% of IRA or 401k accounts. Can you afford to lose again if the next crash comes? What if you could store your IRA or 401k where you can see, touch, and hold it in your hands? Well, with the Augusta Gold and Silver IRA, you can transfer retirement savings into physical coins and store them where you can actually hold them in your hands, where you can get your gold fast in a disaster. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 855-222-6993 and receive a free gold and silver IRA guide. There is no obligation. It's rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Augusta Precious Metals enjoys a 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 855-222-6993. That's 855-222-6993. 855-222-6993.
Businesses throughout the Caribbean are bracing for what could be a catastrophic strike from Hurricane Matthew. In Haiti, some 55,000 people have been displaced, and they could be in further danger. The Bahamas, Cuba, Jamaica, all expecting to have economic damage. Manufacturing rebounded last month. The Institute for Supply Management says new orders were up, and factory production rose as well. One sour note, lower energy prices did cause energy companies to cut back on pipeline equipment. Florida and Seminole Indian tribes in court squaring off over whether Indian casinos can have blackjack tables in them. The Native Americans say Florida lawmakers welched on a deal to allow them to continue to have those tables in their casinos. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing, independently owned business bank. Signature Bank listens to your story, learns about your business, and sticks with their customers. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Kevin Bastuga, co-founder of Signature Bank. As native Chicagoans, my partners and I know this city, its economy, and the challenges that small businesses face. We like to think of Signature Bank as your hometown bank. Chicagoans helping Chicagoans. We understand that banking is ultimately about people, and we build long-term, lasting relationships with our customers. We stand by our customers, and our customers stand by us, and we welcome new customers every day. We look forward to welcoming you and your business into the Signature Bank family.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, have you waited to buy a MyPillow? You're in luck. Right now, when you buy one premium MyPillow, you'll still get the second one for free, baby. But you'll also receive 2 additional Go Anywhere MyPillows for free. So you're actually getting 2 premium and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows for the price of only 1. It's the best offer ever. Nearly every AM 560 host endorses MyPillow because it's the best. The National Sleep Foundation agrees because they made it their official pillow. It's washable to remove all the ickies that cause allergies, acne, and asthma, so it's healthy, and you'll sleep better. Visit MyPillow.com. Click the radio listener special tab and use the promo code Joe. You'll get 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere for the price of 1. Or you can call 1-800-489-0201. Mention the radio listener special and use the promo code Joe. That's MyPillow.com or 1-800-489-0201.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, you remember Joakim Noah, right? He was the frenetic rebounder with the sideshow bob hair.
Yeah, he's Swedish and French and African.
Well, his father, Yannick Noah, great tennis player.
Yes.
Well, he's with the Knicks now, along with Derrick Rose, until Derrick Rose is imprisoned. And
Stop it.
he is...
It's not going to go down that way, please.
The Knicks had a dinner with West Point Army cadets. And Joakim Noah decided not to attend, and he unfortunately got permission from Knicks coach Jeff Hornacek, LT grad.
Right, and he
let
him not attend?
Okay. Yeah, he gave him the okay. It was a bad call on Hornacek's part. Noah refused to attend a dinner with the Army cadets because of his stance against gun violence and the war. What war? He was also no-show for a speech delivered by a retired colonel. It's hard for me a little bit. I have a lot of respect for the kids here fighting, but it's hard for me to understand why we go to war and why kids have to kill kids all around the world. Said Noah, I have mixed feelings about being here. I'm very proud of this country. I love America. I don't understand kids killing kids around the world. So Joakim Noah skipped out on the dinner. The spokesman for West Point responded, said Lieutenant Colonel Christopher Kasker, we are disappointed and feel Mr. Noah's choice of West Point to make a statement is inappropriate because of the great sacrifice that has originated from this institution over our nation's history. I'd say so. The U.S. Military Academy at West Point develops leaders of character for the defense of our nation. Yeah, but Joakim Noah doesn't understand that.
No. Am I going to have to burn my Joakim Noah Bulls jersey now?
I
already got rid of my Patrick Kane one and my Derrick Rose one.
You just might want to remember what Charles Barkley famously said, that athletes aren't role models.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
No matter what type of business you're in, having a strong business banking partnership can help your bottom line. I'm Jeff Boundy, president of Cornerstone National Bank and Trust Company. We strongly believe that trust, service, and relationship are the cornerstone of a successful business banking partnership. Customers like Rick Williams of Pump Supply agree.
Hi, my name is Rick Williams, owner of Pump Supply Incorporated. As a business owner, I recognize the importance of relationships. I need a bank that understands my business and is able to respond quickly and creatively to the needs of my company. Cornerstone has been a valuable business partner and has helped me grow my company and seize opportunities as I come across them. Whether it's providing a line of credit or financing the acquisition of equipment or real estate, Cornerstone has been there for me every step of the way.
Thanks, Rick. Please visit cornerstonenb.com, or I invite you to give me a call at 847-654-3000 to explore a business banking partnership.
Equal Opportunity Lender. Member FDIC.
Business owners and managers, you likely aren't getting the most out of your phone system, and whether you realize it or not, you could be losing revenue. At AM 560, Innovative Networks is more than a client. They're also a company we work with and highly recommend. They excel at providing innovative solutions to reinforce your company's phone infrastructure and enhance call flow. We appreciate how comprehensive, diligent, and cost-effective Innovative Networks was in providing network solutions that scale with our business. And amazingly, they can replace your outdated phone system at no cost. Plus, provide hands-on training to maximize your capabilities. Your bottom line will improve, and you'll be better equipped to focus on growing your business. We're thrilled with Innovative Networks and suggest you call Innovative Networks at 312-889-9090. They're A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau. Call 312-889-9090 or visit go4inet.com. That's go, the number 4, INET.com.
I just love CertaPro painters. You know, they've been to our home twice now, painted our chipped front porch and my son's bedrooms. Sharp lines, vibrant colors. And you know, fall is right around the corner, the season of colors. So now is the perfect time to update your home. Whether it's a bold new warm color for the dining room or a fresh take on your home's exterior, call CertaPro painters to transform and protect your home before cold weather arrives. Plus, the holidays will be here before you know it. So now is the perfect time to give your home that updated look you've been wanting. Call now to schedule your fall painting project. 1-800-GO-CERTA. I trust CertaPro painters in my home. They were nice guys. They cleaned up after themselves. There wasn't a single drop of paint anywhere except on my beautiful walls. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated, so you'll feel confident knowing that these are local business owners who are part of your community. Call now for your free fall painting estimate at 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's 1-800-GOCERTA. Or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
text from Ann B. Davis's bowling ball. I hope Tim Kaine shows off his Rosetta Stone lessons. Maybe he can ride it on a burro, in a poncho and sombrero while hanging out nachos, too. We'll have that and other suggestions of what may come to pass in tonight's VP debate with Matt Lewis, CNN political analyst, at 7:07.
But first, let's go into the newsroom and say good morning once again to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, 3 killed, 1 critically hurt in a Chicago crash. We'll have details on that and more on the CPS announcement of layoffs a week before a possible strike. Kirk and Duckworth spar over Iran in a debate before the Tribune editorial board. A new manager of the White Sox. Bulls beaten by the Bucks in the NBA preseason. Forecast after Fox. WIND Chicago News Time, 7.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. It's a nasty day in Haiti. Some areas of the country could get 3 feet of rain as Hurricane Matthew crosses over, just making landfall on the southwest coast, full of 145-mile-an-hour wind. Flooding and mudslides are big worries. Parts of Cuba and the Bahamas will get it next, and then maybe the U.S. Fox's Evan Brown tracking the monster storm live in Miami.
Yeah, Dave, all the recent track forecasts show Matthew swiping much of Florida's east coast starting early Thursday. Governor Rick Scott's already declared a state of emergency.
If Matthew directly impacts Florida, the destruction will be catastrophic, and you will need to be prepared.
Matthew is expected to ride the U.S. East Coast all weekend, keeping its hurricane status and winding up over North Carolina's Outer Banks by early Sunday. North Carolina's governor has also declared an emergency state for 66 counties and is urging coastal residents to be ready to move out when the order is given, Dave.
Yeah, but Donald Trump says what he did with his taxes was legal.
Honestly, I have brilliantly used those laws.
Reacting to the report showing he used huge business losses to help him maybe pay no federal income taxes for years.
Trump was taking from America with both hands and leaving the rest of us with the bill.
Hillary Clinton and Trump will be watching tonight when their running mates take center stage. Tim Kaine and Mike Pence will debate for the only time.
Kaine aides tell us the senator is going to try to get Pence to defend Trump for some of the things the Clinton campaign has called controversial in the last few weeks, whereas Trump's running mate, who's been doing mock debates with Governor Scott Walker standing in for Kaine, is going to come out as feisty, according to Trump's campaign manager, Kellyanne Conway.
Fox's Peter Ducey in Farmville, Virginia. The defense takes its turn at the trial of a Georgia father and the death of his son inside a hot SUV to tell the jury it was an accident. Prosecutors said yesterday Justin Ross Harris was obsessed with seeking sex outside his marriage, had a double life, and left him there to die on purpose. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Skies are cloudy. 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. 3 are dead. Another person critically hurt following a crash on Chicago's south side between a motorcycle and a van near 106th and Indianapolis Avenue. 2 on the bike and a woman in the vehicle were killed. Chicago Public Schools announcing it will lay off 250 teachers and staff members due to a steeper than expected decline in enrollment. CTU spokeswoman Stephanie Gadlin says in a statement the cuts are the latest round in attacks, she says, on children and are pushing educators closer to a strike. Republican Senator Mark Kirk, Democrat challenger Tammy Duckworth sparred over Iran and dueled before the Tribune editorial board. AM 560's David Stewart was there.
At the Chicago Tribune editorial board, Kirk defended calling President Obama unhinged for delivering $400 million to Iran just as hostages were being released.
It's important to conduct our government in a way that there's no price on the heads of Americans, that we want to have freedom to travel about the world without fear.
Duckworth said she also opposes ransom, but questions Kirk's timing.
When these things are happening, or when we are negotiating the Iran nuclear deal, we can't have a United States senator who continues to say these irresponsible things.
Polls show Duckworth with an average lead of 3.5 points. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
Operators of the South Shore commuter rail line in northwest Indiana are holding a series of informational meetings to talk to the public about slashing travel times to Chicago by adding a second set of tracks. The Northern Indiana Commuter Transportation District estimates it will cost about $210 million to add that second track to a 25-mile stretch between Gary and Michigan City. NBA preseason, Milwaukee over the Bulls, 93-91. Dwayne Wade had a couple of three-pointers in his Bulls debut. Rick Renteria managing on the south side, this time for the White Sox, promoted to replace Robin Ventura. The news, a service of Staples. Staples has low prices on ink and toner and an in-stock guarantee to ensure you always get what you need fast. In-stock guarantee applies to in-store selection only. Out-of-stock ink and toner will be ordered from an in-store kiosk with $10 discount plus free shipping. Limit 1 cartridge per customer. 7:04, time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
There is nothing sadder than having to say goodbye to your home. And for too many families all across Illinois, that's exactly what's happened. Unfortunately, years of reckless state spending has led to massive debt, resulting in stagnant wages, high taxes, and fewer jobs. And record numbers have been forced to flee Illinois for opportunities elsewhere. But we can change that if we all stand together and demand that the politicians end the wasteful spending, balance the budget, and restore fiscal sanity to Illinois. Instead of saying goodbye, we can start saying, welcome back home to Illinois. Demand common sense spending reforms. Visit IllinoisAction.org to sign the petition.
You're listening to the actual sound of Jupiter. Its electromagnetic waves were captured by a probe and beamed roughly 365 million miles to scientists on Earth. But say those same scientists wanted to host a video conference to show off their work. They'd probably need to call IT to have them set up video and a 15-digit dial-in that might not even work. At Vonage, we think it's about time business communications caught up. See what Vonage can do for your business at Vonage.com/it'sabout-time.
These days, you gotta have a side hustle. And I'm not talking about a 9-to-5. I'm talking about driving with Uber. It's the ultimate side hustle. You wanna earn extra money? Drive with Uber. Have a few spare hours here and there? Drive with Uber. You like the idea of being your own boss? Drive with Uber. You make a great boss. You're probably driving right now. You should be earning. If you want your car to start making you money, then visit uber.com/drive now and get your side hustle on today. That's uber.com/drive now.
7:06. Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. The latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Edens, delays start around Gulf Road. 28 minutes like Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. The Kennedy, 51 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 27 from Montrose, 19 on the Express, outbound 41 to the airport. The Eisenhower holds at 53 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, outbound. It's an hour and 4 minutes after a crash at Wolf Road. Northbound I-55 is a mess from past 126 to Lamont Road. 2 right lanes are blocked with a crash. An hour and 10 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 42 minutes from the Tri-State, outbound 35 minutes. The ride is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound heavy, 137 to 176. Northbound, slow 115th most of the way to 31st, then from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway delays from the Elgin Toll to 31, Higgins to Barrington, Tri-State to the Kennedy. Veterans Memorial slows 75th most of the way to Roosevelt, and Army Trail to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Clouds give way to some sun today with a high 75. Then it will turn out partly cloudy tonight with a low 61. Clouds and sun with an afternoon shower or thunderstorm around tomorrow, high 77. And a brief late night shower or 2, low tomorrow night 63. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently, we have 61 at O'Hare, 62 along the lakefront. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour Radio Show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pure Shale Financial Group.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
When you talk about the mental health problems, when people come back from war and combat and they see things that maybe a lot of the folks in this room have seen many times over, and you're strong and you can handle it, but a lot of people can't handle it.
Which is of great interest and great concern to a lot of people, right? There are people who devote their lives to dealing with post-traumatic stress, PTS. And one of the things they are devoted to is the notion that it can happen to anyone. It's not about being strong.
And he kind of says some offensive things, which I don't necessarily agree with, but I got to get past
past that. I'm looking more of the economic and stuff like that.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the one and only, thank goodness, vice presidential debate is tonight.
I am so looking forward to this.
You're the only one not named Kane or Pence that's excited about tonight's debate.
Oh, I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I think so.
No, because this is like, candidates these are conventional candidates in an unconventional campaign this season. And actually, I'm looking forward to seeing and hearing from them how Donald Trump, how Governor Pence can be sound on policy chops and help Donald Trump if he's elected president.
That is some scintillating advanced billing you just offered.
I know, thank you. And
wow.
Well, and Kane can bring some sense of human connection to Hillary Clinton because she lacks that.
Yeah, what a ringmaster you are. Holy goodness.
I love vice presidential debates.
I have a suggested underwriter for tonight's debate, and I don't know why the Presidential Commission on Debates didn't pick up on this, but there is a online club called the Dull Men's Club. Oh, it's an online community of men wishing to escape the hurly-burly of everyday life. It advertises as such, whether you're crazy for roundabouts, addicted to photographing mailboxes, have the world's largest collection of British milk bottles, or you're just a dull man with pretty much any sort of hobby that induces bafflement and yawns in friends and acquaintances, there's a club just for you, a drawly, cheerful celebration of the very ordinary. Born to be Mild, which is a documentary on the Dull Men's Club, explores the uncommon hobbies practiced by the members of the Dull Men's Club, an online community that connects dull men and women who appreciate dull men. And would be an ideal sponsor
I'm
for
surprised,
Mike Pence and Tim Kaine.
I'm surprised we're not having a viewing party here at AM 560.
I'm surprised that Mike Pence and Tim Kaine were able to find wives without the help of the Dull Men's Club.
That is...
Oh, is that offensive?
That is... I wanted my safe space back for my vice presidential candidate.
So many unanswered questions going into tonight's debate, like, for example,
yes,
Tim Kaine being the first white man to ever learn the Spanish language, will he do the entire debate in Spanish?
Yo no conozco.
For more answers to those pressing questions, we're happy to be joined by Matt Lewis. He's a CNN political analyst, contributor, and he's the author of the book Too Dumb to Fail. Matt, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So what can we expect from tonight's debate? Just kind of more surrogating to try and paper over some of the rough edges of the respective presidential nominees?
Yeah, I really think this is about the top of the ticket. So we've been showing all day on CNN and every other network the moment where Lloyd Benson says to Dan Quayle, "I knew Jack Kennedy, you're no John F. Kennedy."
Mm-hmm.
And remember, Quayle and Bush end up winning that election. So, if debate gotcha moments, mattered in a vice presidential debate, then, we would have had President Dukakis. So I don't think that the vice presidents matter that much. Maybe they should. We've got two candidates that are about 70 years old. But I think the good news is Pence and Kaine, as you were saying, are boring. I think we could use a little boring this cycle. So I think that really what it's about is Trump versus Hillary, even tonight.
What's the format going to be like for tonight? It's just one moderator asking questions?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that's the case. I think it'll be like the first debate. We might remember the famous sort of Dick Cheney versus Joe Lieberman debate. They negotiated to be sitting down. I don't think that's the case tonight. Now, in terms of format, the kind of exciting thing, I think, is the next presidential debate, which will be the town hall format. Right. I don't see how Trump is going to manage that, but I'm getting ahead of ourselves.
Well, I mean, that's how exciting the VP debate promises to be. Let's skip to Sunday. Mike Pence does a pretty good job of kind of soft pedaling some of Trump's more curious statements. Do you expect there's a particular issue or two that Pence hopes to resolve in some meaningful way to put behind the Trump-Pence ticket?
I mean, I really think that's the one thing to watch for tonight is how does Mike Pence defend some of the things that Donald Trump has said. That is probably what the debate will amount to. Donald Trump said this about veterans suffering from PTSD. Do you agree with that? Donald Trump The New York Times alleges he may not have paid taxes for decades. Is that fair to the average working Joe? I think that's what to watch tonight. The good news for Pence is that he's actually very adept, it turns out, at defending Trump, in many cases better than Trump defends himself.
Yeah, maybe where he gets back to crystallizing some of the choices. It's the, what Donald Trump has said versus what Hillary Clinton has done on issue after issue.
Yeah, I think that's sort of the two-step, it's to, you can't completely ignore a moderator's question, but you can sort of, if you've got 2 minutes to answer a question, you can spend 10 or 15 seconds answering the question and then parry it and sort of move on to go on offense and talk about Hillary Clinton. And let's be honest, there's a lot of serious concerns about Hillary Clinton as well, especially in terms of her honesty and trustworthiness.
Do you think Tim Kaine, I know that he's apparently has never lost an election. Do you think he can bring some sense of human connection to Hillary Clinton to try and deliver a softer side of her, since a lot of people think she's just, a bold-faced liar?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, these are two guys that they're not Mr. Excitement, either one of them, but I think that they're both very likable. And I do think that Tim Kaine, comes across sort of as a nice, good guy. And in fact, everybody I've ever talked to, even if you don't like his policies, he seems to be unanimous. He is a decent, good guy. I think that shows through. The Republican Party right now is trying to launch some attacks on him in terms of people that he's defended as a lawyer. I just don't think that's going to fly, and I think really they should be going after Hillary. That's what voters are going to care about.
Is there an anti-Tim Kaine ad out there?
Well,
I want to hear that.
And so, but in terms of the issue tonight, some of this will be what's in the news cycle, and what's in the news cycle, as you mentioned at the outset, is that New York Times story from over the weekend. And this seems to me an issue, despite a tactical mistake on Trump's part, in my estimation, and I know the estimation of a lot of others, in not releasing his tax returns long ago, at least after he secured the nomination to dispense with this long ago. This is an issue, the way the New York Times has done it, and what the reveal was, that it seems very well suited to turn to Donald Trump's advantage, not to just dispatch it, but to actually turn a bug into a feature with the Hillary critique on taxes and tax paying, and presenting the contrast between a lifelong public sector suckling who's leveraged public office for private gain versus somebody who's had a life of taking risks and sometimes losing, but on net winning a lot more than he lost and creating a lot of wealth and job opportunities for others in the process.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think you've just explained that better than any of the Trump surrogates have, to be honest. But I agree that there is. It may seem like an obvious loser for Trump, but I think there's a way to sort of spin it and to talk about that. Our tax code is created so that you can write off losses, so that you can get back out there and try to create more jobs and grow the economy. I don't know that the Trump people have effectively made that argument. I know they've tried. I don't think they've quite nailed it yet.
Well, don't you think Trump's argument would be a lot stronger if he just released his tax returns?
Well, at this point, I've got sort of two hats that I'm wearing. As a journalist and even as a citizen, I obviously would love to have him release him for transparency's sake. But I have to tell you, at this point, as if I were a strategist, I don't think I would do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you're about a month out of the election now. I don't think the election's going to be about his taxes. I think it's going to be about his temperament. And I don't think anything good could really come from it at this point. Now, maybe he should have done it, 6 months ago.
Well, let's take a little look ahead, since you mentioned the town hall format in St. Louis on Sunday night, and you suggest you don't know how Trump's going to handle that. Explain what you meant.
Well, it's actually my column for Roll Call this week is about this topic. And, if you look at who has done well, obviously in 1992, Bill Clinton really did a great job in that town hall debate where he felt our pain.
Gosh, I hope nobody asks boxers or briefs for the two of them. Please don't ask that
Pepsi
question.
or Coke or that whole thing.
It strikes me that every medium has a built-in skew, and it strikes me that a town hall debate is inherently about empathy and empathizing with Because remember, it's not if a moderator asks you a silly question or a question you don't want to answer, you can attack the moderator or ignore the question and not be punished that much. But if a civilian, just a regular American, asks you a question like, Mr. Trump, you didn't pay taxes according to the New York Times, and why is it that I have to pay? I make minimum wage and I pay thousands of dollars. Something like that. I don't see Trump being the Bill Clinton type character who can answer that.
All right, he is Matt Lewis, CNN contributor, author of the book Too Dumb to Fail: How the GOP Betrayed the Reagan Revolution to Win Elections. And you can get Matt Lewis's distillation on Sunday night's debate and roll call this week. Matt Lewis, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The latest on WikiLeaks and what Hillary Clinton wanted possibly done to Julian Assange. But first, here's your forecast. We're going to have some clouds around here. Hopefully some sunshine by this afternoon, a high of 75 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, mild, a low of 61. And for Wednesday, it's going to be warm with some sun, breezy in the afternoon, a possible thunderstorm in spots, and a lovely high of 77 degrees. Let's get those travel times. How's the northbound I-55 doing? Here's Jim Telemonte with The Answer.
Amy, it's really a mess, and it's slow from past 126 to Lamont Road. There's a crash blocking 2 right lanes. We're looking at, on the Stevenson, an hour and 15 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, which is 47 minutes from the Tri-State. Outbound, 40 minutes to 3:55. Edens, 28 minutes, Lake Cook to the Junction, outbound 25. Kennedy, 51 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 41. The Eisenhower's now an hour from Thorndale to downtown, outbound 55 minutes. The Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to the Loop. On the Tri-State, it's slow southbound from 137 to 176. Northbound Harlem, most of the way to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Veterans Memorial, pretty heavy, 75th to the Reagan Tollway, and Finley to Roosevelt, then from the Army Trail Toll to 290. That's traffic on AM 560, The Answer.
My daughter started school, and I find myself worrying if she is getting home safe while I'm still at work. I wish I could check up on her.
Alarm Detection Systems offers remote control of your security system from your phone. Get text or video alerts when someone's at your door. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
Our neighbor had thousands of dollars in flood damage and lost several items that are irreplaceable. Is there a security solution to receive early warning of an event like this?
Of course. Alarm Detection Systems has flood detection systems alerting you when water gathers in your home, giving you time to react. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
Congratulations to all who took the Balance of Nature Challenge. Success stories are pouring in.
Since I've been taking these supplements, these veggies and fruit, it's great. I feel energized.
I had my physical, and my glycemic index was down 0.4, or 6.4 down to 6.0. I was only on it for 2 months. And, edgy about getting my numbers back on my glycemic reading, my blood test before I had my physical. When the doctor told me I was down 0.4, and he seemed surprised by it, I kind of smiled. I didn't tell him what I was doing,
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer. See Alan West and Michelle Malkin at Freedom Summit Chicago 2016. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com.
Dan and Amy, so apparently this WikiLeaks, much anticipated WikiLeaks document dump, October surprise from Julian Assange, he was initially going to do his Eva Peron from the Ecuadorian embassy in London. And then that got scratched for so-called security concerns.
Security concerns for his well-being.
And then some
Okay.
video link from Berlin this morning, and apparently it's a big nothing burger, kind of like the New York Times story on Trump's taxes, although being treated very differently. This is, the 10th anniversary of WikiLeaks, so he wants to make a big splash.
Oh, this is his way of having a
But
party for himself.
The only thing I've seen is some reference to an allegation that Hillary Clinton once said that should look at a drone strike against Assange.
Yeah, she was trying to float various proposals to stop or slow down the WikiLeaks that was going on, and she blurted out in a meeting, "Can't we just drone this guy?" So she's trying to offer a simple remedy to silencing him.
I assume that I'd like to hear the. I'm no
That's
Hillary
no
defender.
This attribution is WikiLeaks Twitter account.
Well, I'm no Hillary defender, but I'd also like to hear the tone of that statement, like if she was being sarcastic in a meeting, as opposed to actually offering that up as a proposal. I suggest it was probably the former.
Yeah.
So anybody looking to WikiLeaks to end the Hillary Clinton candidacy, that kind of fizzled this morning. So I'm sorry we don't have more for you on that. But in terms of the tax issue, we do have more for you on that. We have Hillary in Toledo yesterday trying to fan the flames of the New York Times story.
Now, Trump represents the same rigged system that he claims he's going to change. The whole story tells us everything we need to know about how Trump does business. After he made all those bad bets and lost all that money, he didn't lift a finger to help and protect his employees, or all the small businesses and contractors he'd hired, or the people of Atlantic City. They all got hammered while he was busy with his accountants trying to figure out how he could keep living like a billionaire. And all the while, he was using his political connections to collect hundreds of millions of dollars in government subsidies and extra tax breaks for his companies. In other words, Trump was taking from America with both hands and leaving the rest of us with the bill.
Yeah.
And she even said, how could he lose $1 in a casino? I mean, we've all lost money at a casino.
Well,
back in the 1990s, Trump apparently lost $1 billion in a single year on bad investments and failing casinos. Now, how anybody can lose $1, let alone $1 billion in the casino industry is kind of beyond me, right?
Yeah, well, it's beyond you because you have existed your entire life in the public sector and you've made your $100 million giving speeches and leveraging your public office for personal gain. That's what Clinton Inc. does. That's what the Hillbilly House of Cards scam is with both hands. And so let's understand a couple of things. One is, we're talking about the operator side, not going to a casino. Secondly,
Right.
Well, there are Vegas casinos that have been raised.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Trump's not the only one. Sometimes your casino falls out of favor.
It happens.
But her comments in Toledo, gaming the system. What's so funny? She is a big government liberal, government centric. Government's going to create the jobs, and government's going to start the businesses, and you didn't build that. And yet, when somebody in business then avails themselves of the rules of the game that you set up, career politician, then they're the bad guy, right? All the subsidies and the carve-outs and the loopholes and the access points with big government, right? We don't have too much money in politics. We have too much government for sale, as Institute for Justice rightly points out. But now Trump is the bad guy for playing the game according to the rules that the ruling class set forward. Explain that to me. This is where Trump needs to be on offense on Sunday night, and frankly, Pence does tonight with respect to Kaine, because you'll hear Tim Kaine lodge this same line of attack. Let's talk about Tim Kaine and Hillary Clinton and job creation. Let's talk about it. Let's compare the risk-taking behavior. Let's compare the amount of wealth created, the amount of jobs created between Tim Kaine and Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Whether you're a fan of Donald Trump or not, the numbers are the numbers are the numbers. And the idea that, oh my gosh, and this is the other line of argumentation, how could anybody lose $1 billion in a single year? You're a big player who makes big bets. Sometimes you lose big bets. Mm-hmm. And I pointed this out before. I wonder what Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine would say about the 200-plus staffers that manage Harvard's $35 billion endowment. They lost $2 billion last year. $2 billion. Harvard spends at least $70 million on its endowment management office, which is enough to cover Harvard's $45,000 tuition for 1,600 freshmen. $2 billion. So are they all idiots that are running Harvard's endowment fund? Is that what Harvard thinks? Or did, you not beat the market one year? It happens in financial services. It happens in wealth management. So I just want to understand, who's the simp and who doesn't understand the real world. Is it Hillary and Tim Kaine, or is it Donald Trump?
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you've experienced a medical challenge which left you loaded with collections and destroyed your credit, listen carefully. On Thursday, October 6th, Gilda's Club and I are hosting a free credit enhancement seminar at Gilda's Club Downtown Cancer Support Facility on North Wells Street. You should attend if any of these apply to you. A medical challenge destroyed your credit. You missed a credit card, mortgage, or utility payment while you were overcoming your medical challenge. You'd like proven and effective methods to enhance your credit profile and increase your credit scores. To register for Thursday night's free credit enhancement seminar at Gilda's Club's downtown location, go to am560david.com. If you have any questions about refinancing or purchasing a home, call me at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358 RMLA NMLS 19186.
Hey, have you waited to buy a MyPillow? Well, you're in luck. For this month only, when you buy one premium MyPillow, you still get the second one for free, but you'll also receive one of my favorites, 2 additional Go Anywhere MyPillows. So you're actually getting 2 premium and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows for the price of one. It's the best offer ever. And don't you know, nearly every AM 560 host endorses MyPillow because it is the best. The National Sleep Foundation agrees because they made it their official pillow. I love it because it's washable to remove all the ickies that cause allergies, acne, asthma. It's a great health investment, and you'll sleep better. They guarantee it. There's a 60-day full money-back guarantee. So here's what you do. Go to MyPillow.com, click that radio listener special tab, and use the promo code Amy. Again, 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere pillows for the price of one. Or call 800-489-0201. Mention the radio listener special and use the promo code Amy. That's MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Bill Clinton calls Obamacare crazy at 7:37.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, Hurricane Matthew slamming Haiti in what many forecasters are calling a catastrophic event. John Hasse is National Director with World Vision in Haiti.
In the longer term, we're going to be making sure that they have long-term access to water and that we're going to be reducing their exposure to things like cholera, malaria, Zika, some of these water and mosquito-borne diseases that we expect with all of the flooding.
Cuba and the Bahamas are next in line for the storm that is also expected to hit the southeast U.S. Florida Governor Rick Scott issuing a state of emergency yesterday. The Republican and Democratic vice presidential nominees debate tonight. Donald Trump campaign manager Kellyanne Conway on CBS.
Doing the job of the vice presidential nominee, which is to hold to account the other party's nominee, and asking those questions about Hillary Clinton's fairly unremarkable record here in New York as United States Senator.
Republican Mike Pence, Democrat Tim Kaine square off in that 90-minute primetime debate. Right here on AM 560 tonight, Joe Walsh carries the pregame. Lee Elder, Mike Gallagher, the postgame conversation. Pope Francis visiting one of the Italian towns devastated by August's deadly earthquake. The Pope making a surprise visit to Amatrice today. U.S. Supreme Court takes up Apple's patent infringement fight with Samsung. The court could begin to define the value of design work. 3 are dead, another person critically hurt following a crash on Chicago's South Side near 106th and Indianapolis. And the Supreme Court will not hear an appeal from Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart, who was ordered to stop threatening credit card companies from doing business with classified ad website Backpage.com. Chicago sports NBA preseason. Milwaukee beat the Bulls 93-91. Rick Renteria, so you're officially your new skipper on the South Side, promoted to head up the White Sox to replace Robin Ventura. The news, a service of Staples. Staples has low prices on ink and toner and an in-stock guarantee to ensure you always get what you need. Fast. In-stock guarantee applies to in-store selection only. Out-of-stock ink and toner will be ordered from in-store kiosk with $10 discount plus free shipping. Limit 1 cartridge per customer. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager is astounded by what's going on in this country.
It's chaos in this country. There's chaos. There's moral chaos. Moral chaos leads to violence. It's inevitable. If your criteria are white and black rather than right and wrong, then you will have violence. And that is the left. Thank you, left. Another gift that the left has given this country.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
It started at Bunko Night. A little tickle in my throat, says Sandra. Then comes Colin barking like a seal. That cough, that's the flu. And then it spreads to Edna, to Wiley, to Marjorie. But when it comes to your door, you won't be answering because you got your flu shot at Rite Aid, where they care about you and your health. So while they're seeing doctors and sweating through fevers, you'll be teaching your granddaughter the 2-deck shuffle. Shield yourself at Rite Aid before it's too late. If you're over 65, the CDC recommends flu and pneumonia shots. No appointments necessary, and they're free with Medicare Part B. Rite Aid. With us, it's personal. Flu vaccines available while supplies last. Age restrictions apply in some states. See pharmacy for details.
Is the recession really over? Is a bigger one on the way? Will our next president lead us to prosperity and peace, or will it all fall apart? Be wise and be ready with 25-year shelf life Wise Food Storage. Try it free. Order a no-obligation free sample meal delivered right to your front door. And for a limited time, get a 10% discount and free shipping on all orders. Call for your free sample now. 800-775-9353. 800-775-9353.
Plus up your day with Centrum Silver multivitamins, upgraded with more vitamin D3. It's a healthy addition you can feel good about. This is Bob.
Hi, I'm Bob.
His company put their trust in Air Comfort to keep their business running cool all summer. Bob knows the value of proper chiller maintenance that includes end-of-season service, so he'll be ready for next summer.
I'm ready.
Dave, on the other hand, thought he could put off servicing his chiller at the end of last season and had 3 complete shutdowns this summer. Needless to say, his staff and customers were not happy. Moral of the story? Preventative maintenance will save you time, money, and trouble. As the hot weather ends, you need maintenance on your chiller before the start of next season. Air Comfort has one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with a dedicated factory-trained chiller department that takes a scientific approach to analyzing your system and determining any needed maintenance. They know how to work on large equipment, perform an analysis of your chiller, and get you ready for next season. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
7:37, an update on the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. The Edens inbound is 36 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 27. The Kennedy, an hour and 9 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 42 minutes. The Eisenhower, an hour and 4 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 55 minutes. Northbound I-55 has a big jam from 126 to Lamont Road with a crash in the 2 right lanes. Stevenson is an hour and 15 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 47 minutes to the Tri-State, outbound 40 minutes to 355. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound stop and go Washington to 176. Northbound delays Southwest Highway to 75th. To Stevenson to 31st, and from the Cermak toll to the Grand Avenue curve. Traffic is a service of Staples. Staples has low prices on ink and toner and an in-stock guarantee to ensure you always get what you need fast. In-stock guarantee applies to in-store selection only. Out-of-stock ink and toner be ordered from in-store kiosk with $10 discount plus free shipping. Limit 1 cartridge per customer. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Fog this morning Clouds give way to sunshine by the afternoon, high 75. 60 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
See Alan West and Michelle Malkin at Freedom Summit Chicago 2016. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I'll take your calls on Trump taxes and other matters in just a minute. So if you want to chime in on that, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. But I also wanted to get to Bill Clinton on the stump. Bill Clinton on the stump for Hillary Clinton in Flint, Michigan. And talking about health care. Yeah. Not Hillary care, but Obamacare. Didn't mention it by name, but he might as well have.
Now, the next thing is we got to figure out what to do now on health care. Our opponents said, just repeal it all. The market will take care of it. That didn't work out very well for us, did it? We wound up with the most expensive system in the world, and we insured the smallest percentage of people. On the other hand, the current system works fine if you're eligible for Medicaid, if you're a lower-income working person, if you're already on Medicare, or if you get enough subsidies on a modest income that you can afford your health care. But the people that are getting killed in this deal are small business people and individuals who make just a little too much to get any of these subsidies. Why? Because they're not organized, they don't have any bargaining power with insurance companies, and they're getting whacked. So you've got this crazy system where all of a sudden 25 million more people have health care, and then the people are out there busting it sometimes 60 hours a week, wind up with their premiums doubled and their coverage cut in half. It's the craziest thing in the world.
Craziest thing in the world. He's talking about Obamacare. Wasn't his wife a strong proponent of Obamacare, or am I misremembering that?
She was the architect of the plan.
These are the kinds of issues and the kind of statements that a Mike Pence may want to bring up in a debate. A Donald Trump may want to bring up in a town hall on Sunday night. Bill Clinton has a remedy, though, for this problem that he's identified with Obamacare, this crazy system of Obamacare. Listen to the remedy.
Hillary believes we should simply let people who are above the line for getting these subsidies have access to affordable entry into the Medicare and Medicaid programs. They'll all be covered.
Yay!
It will not hurt the program.
Herd everybody into government health care, government-run health care, Medicare and Medicaid. Medicaid is not the health care provision you want. That is the worst health care program. That it provides the worst access to quality health care. And his solution is to herd people into it. Also, the cost of the Obamacare Medicaid expansion turns out, real shock here, turns out to be significantly more expensive than predicted by the government. We know that in Illinois, talking about 45% more expensive than initially projected by the government. But that's just a rounding error, and we can afford it all. Really. $80 trillion in unfunded liabilities at present at the federal level. But we can afford it all. And what's going on with Obamacare? Since they want to talk about Trump's record in business, how about their record in government policy? Obamacare bailout declared illegal. President Obama's vaunted pen and phone have run into trouble with the law. This time, the nonpartisan GAO, the Government Accountability Office, acting in its function as Comptroller General, concluded the administration implemented Obamacare's reinsurance program in an illegal and impermissible manner. Rather than focusing first on repaying the Treasury, as the text of the statute requires, the administration has placed its first and highest priority on bailing out insurers because they didn't generate the revenue they projected because, in part of what Bill Clinton's talking about, the adverse selection that occurred with Obamacare, healthy people opting out. This summary in National Review Online, also op-ed over the weekend in the Wall Street Journal that discusses the illegal bailout for Obamacare as well. You know, maybe want to bring back these issues since 60% of the public thinks Obamacare was a bad idea several years after implementation now. They're not enjoying it. They don't support it. They don't want to be in government-run healthcare. And with insurers increasingly pushed out of the marketplace, so you're going to turn the few that are left into essentially public utilities. Maybe this is an issue that should be discussed, I don't know, in a presidential contest, presidential debate.
Didn't come up first debate.
Bill Clinton, crazy system, that Obamacare. Steve in Hinsdale, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I have a long-time healthcare executive background. I do a lot of insurance work, done it for decades, and I enroll providers in Illinois Medicaid almost on a daily basis. You know, that is a system that has no computers. You cannot today enroll anybody, a new provider in the Illinois Medicaid system, online. They expect you to use paper, and a blue pen. It's unbelievably antiquated. And finally, from start to finish, if you do everything right, minimum 6 months to finally get an approval. And to think that you want to put people back into Medicaid is just stunning. The Clintons are dumber than the Obamas. Thanks much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Steve.
And they'll pass it off as, our heart was in the right place.
Oh, yeah.
That's what the Democrats do. We mean well.
Dependents turn into Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
State dependents turn into Democrats. That's the game. That's what the left knows. That's why they advance big government to control every aspect of your life from cradle to grave if you make the cradle. And if they let you go to the grave naturally. Ralph and Rantoul.
Hey, good morning. I think one of the big things, I do think that Trump needs to push back on this tax issue. It's the biggest non-issue that's being made into an issue. Especially, just simple things like when Donald Trump convinces people to invest, to give him money, right, to invest in his businesses, he's got to provide a return on the investment. He has to provide greater than $1 for every dollar that comes in. When the government takes money, they confiscate it from you by force. It's called taxation. I think that, quite frankly, Hillary's not been accountable on anything. And for goodness sakes, and the Republicans are really to blame for a lot of that. Unfortunately, we've let her get away with Benghazi and a whole lot of other business. She's been on the dole since 1970 in Yale Law School working for Joe Lieberman's campaign. 46 years.
I remember that.
Show for it? Nothing. She's got nothing to she's a liar, she's a failure, and she's a liar. She's twice the liar that she is a failure.
She's got $150 million to show for it. Thanks for the call, Ralph. And I remember that Yale Law Library.
Oh, back in the spring of 1971.
Those two crazy kids.
They crossed eyes.
Fell for one another.
And it's been bliss ever since.
One of the great romances.
Of all time.
Real Dr. Zhivago. Sean in Elmwood Park.
I'll tell you what, doesn't that Bill Clinton sound wonderful? He sounds like if Foghorn Leghorn got shot. It won't be long now, intern molester. You better get your affairs in order. And the other thing is Obamacare is failing exactly the way government likes it. Because when they fail, they get more power, more omnipotence, and you get less. So it won't be long now, and we'll be in Soviet healthcare where you bring your own pillow and hope a rat doesn't bite you. And good for all of you morons that thought it would be a great idea. Just like now with these two 70-year-old fools. That's why this is the first debate where normally these organ grinder monkeys we call vice presidents who run out and just repeat what everybody says to get the money. This is really important because one of these two buffoons could end up being your president, in which case I don't understand how you allow Hillary Clinton, a person who represents government corruption, Whitewater, that storm that just hit Haiti. Did anyone check on her brother's gold mine? Is it okay, Tony? You're all right? You're still making your billions of dollars? And she's going to talk about government corruption? Show me a speech worth $300,000. And has Trump mentioned one? You know why? Because he used to write the check. And that's everybody's fault who nominated this idiot. And I'm sitting back laughing at all of you.
All right, thanks, Sean.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Yeah, motivational speaker. I know someone whose
Chris
company
Farley.
spent $300,000 to have her go to Vegas to deliver a motivational speech.
Yeah. No living in a van down by the river for her.
And if you do live in a van, at least it's going to be warm today. We're going to have fog this morning. Otherwise, some clouds giving way to some sun, a high of 75 degrees. Tonight, a low of 61. And tomorrow, it's going to be warm around here. You might have to turn on your AC. We're going to have a high near 80 degrees. We can't rule out a passing afternoon thunderstorm. Let's get the latest on the roadways, in particular the northbound Stevenson. How's it going out there? Here's Jim Telemonte.
It's pretty heavy, Amy and Dan, from 126 to Lamont Road with a crash still blocking 2 right lanes. An hour and 15 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 47 minutes from the Tri-State, outbound 40 to 355. Eden's 36 minutes, Lake Hook to the junction, outbound 27. Kennedy, an hour and 5 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 42 minutes. The Ike, an hour and 4 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 55 minutes. The Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. The Tri-State has big southbound delays from Washington to 176. Northbound Southwest Highway much of the way to 31st after the Cermak toll to the Grand Avenue curve. Reagan toll is slow in pockets, 59 to 355, 83 to the Tri-State. That's traffic on AM 560, The Answer.
On AM 560, The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, President and CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 33-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. We have so many wonderful clients, but with me today is someone very special.
Hi, I'm Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA. We are a nonprofit student organization battling the bias and indoctrination in America's high schools and colleges every day. We are on over 1,000 campuses and continue to grow. Precision Payroll has been there since day one and has helped us immensely as we grew to a truly national organization. No one in the business is better than Precision Payroll. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Charlie. What you're doing is so important. To learn more and help, go to tpusa.com. That's tpusa.com.
And for your business, let Precision Payroll make a difference for you. Call Tom at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. Or online at precisionpayroll.com.
Thank you, Charlie.
Are voter ID laws unconstitutional? Hear both sides when the National Constitution Center, the Federalist Society, and the American Constitution Society come to Chicago for one night only, Wednesday, October 5th, for an important America's Town Hall debate at the Chicago Cultural Center. National Constitution Center President and CEO Jeffrey Rosen will moderate. Tickets for the debate are free but limited. For reservations, visit constitutioncenter.org. That's constitutioncenter.org.
Barbecue grill ready? Check. Cooler packed and loaded? Check. Favorite jersey washed? Check. Lucky socks not washed? Check. Tickets good to go? Check. It's not even game day yet. But when it is, we'll be ready. On the Husky Sports Network.
Kickoff between the Western Michigan Broncos and your NIU Huskies is set for this Saturday evening at 5:30. Catch all the action on your home for NIU football. AM 560, The Answer.
AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, it's coming. Halloween's almost here. What are you going to dress up as this year, Dan?
I don't dress up anymore.
Oh, come on.
I've joined the Dull Men's Club with Tim Kaine and Mike Pence.
You could be one of them. Well, in Detroit, there's a Halloween decorations that's getting some attention. The woman's name is Laretha Hayden, and wherever she's lived for the past 25 years, she always has a risque Halloween decorations. She normally puts, a corpse down to try and scare the kids. But this year she has a Black Lives Matter Halloween decorations outside her house. She has 6 corpses. One, the victim of a carjacking. He's face down in her lawn. Another one, there's a sign next to him saying, "Hands up, don't shoot." And that's in reference, to what was going on allegedly in Ferguson, which we know that didn't really play out that way. But she's doing it to make a statement about the times that we live in.
You're going to get this much recognition. We need to do something to bring, something that's going to make the people aware of the situations that's going on. If you don't open your eyes and see what's going on, it's just going to keep on happening.
But if you see these pictures,
Real conversation starter.
Yeah, but the problem, the conversation is starting with police because every day they are bothered by this exhibit, by her freedom of expression, because 911 calls are made and they have to respond. And people say, there's a dead man, there's a bloody dead man in front at this house, and they go and respond. But now they just tell them it's a dummy.
There's
it's
a half
fake.
a dozen bloody dead men in her yard.
Yeah,
so that
3.
should be your first tip off. That's probably not humans. Ms. Hayden said that the tradition started because her husband's birthday is on Halloween. I'm trying to bring laughter to Detroit.
Laughter? She's scaring people.
The lady was standing here yesterday.
It's definitely thought-provoking. It's addressing all of the common issues that are going on right now.
It's different. It's eye-catching.
There's laughter.
eye-catching.
She just brought laughter. Or
She
you heard
laughed.
laughter. Yeah.
Yeah, but is it funny to scare the little kids on the block? I mean, this is pretty graphic. I would not want to live next door to this person.
At first, I did think something was wrong, but when I looked at it and I start to read, I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, I get it. I see the Flint water. Oh, okay, I get it. The book bag bombing. I get it.
Yeah.
She's
a performance artist.
All social issues are being covered on her
Performance
front
artist, sparking conversation. It's her property to do what she wants. It doesn't offend me.
But the best part is that she said every morning when she's out front sipping her coffee, people have different reactions to it. But she said one day a man got out of his car and tried to perform CPR on the dummy. Started doing chest compressions and then realized,
Miss Hayden, that man wasn't trying to do CPR. I hate to break it to you.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. Stay warm this winter. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for winter storms and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com.
And now, a moment of objectivism with Yaron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
Economic inequality is growing and will continue to grow. But the question almost no one asks is, who cares? Economic inequality has nothing to do with poverty. In some countries, people are relatively equal and extremely poor. In other countries, like the United States, people are relatively unequal, and the vast majority are, by world standards, extremely rich. Inequality just means that's really the story of capitalism. Economic progress makes us all better off, just at different rates. So who cares about inequality? I don't. For more, see my book with Don Watkins, Equal is Unfair, America's Misguided Fight Against Income Inequality. Visit ARIradio.com. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ARIradio.com.
If you enjoy Yaron Brook's Moments of Objectivism, consider making a gift to support content like this from the Ayn Rand Institute. ARI fosters a growing awareness, understanding, and acceptance of Ayn Rand's philosophy of objectivism to create a culture guided by the principles of reason, rational self-interest, individualism, and laissez-faire capitalism. To support this work, go to ariradio.com and click on the Donate button. Your tax-deductible gift will help to spread the message of Ayn Rand to the next generation.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and always stay in the kitchen when cooking at high temperatures. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov because fire is everyone's fight.
You might not know it, but fall is the perfect time to feed your lawn. So this football season, you can spend halftime eating some lukewarm bean dip, or you can head outside and run some lawn feeding routes using Scott's Turf Builder Winter Guard Fall Lawn Food. The conditions are ideal for grass to grow deep roots, so your lawn will be stronger come spring. So forget the room temperature dip. Get out there and pick up your bag today. Fall time is yard time with Scott's.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Who is offering more baseless conjecture, the New York Times or Joe Trippy's former boss, Howard Dean? We'll ask Joe Trippy at 8:08.
But first, let's go to the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, 3 are killed, 1 critically hurt in a crash on Chicago's South Side. CPS announces more layoffs just a week before a possible strike. Bucks beat the Bulls in the NBA preseason. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Haiti is taking a beating as Hurricane Matthew crosses over the West Coast,
bringing the worst of the rain and the wind and the storm surge to this very poor area. And we could see upwards of 2 feet of rainfall, but isolated amounts of 30 to 40 inches.
Flooding and mudslides are a big concern. Matthew's a huge storm with 145-mile-an-hour wind. It could hammer parts of Cuba and the Bahamas and then maybe the U.S.
Category 3 major hurricane coming very close to Florida, central Florida. That's Friday morning. And then again coming very close to the Carolinas.
That's Fox meteorologist Janice Dean. She says people should watch closely because the storm track could change. Donald Trump says what he did with his taxes was brilliant and legal.
The unfairness of the tax laws is unbelievable.
And he understands how to reform the system, he says.
I'm working for you now. I'm not working for Trump.
Hillary Clinton has a different reaction to the report. Trump used huge business losses to maybe avoid paying federal income taxes for years.
What kind of genius loses $1 billion in a single year?
Now, today, their running mates take starring roles in the only vice presidential debate. Fox's John Decker will be there and is now live in Virginia.
Both Republican VP nominee Mike Pence and his Democratic opponent Tim Kaine are relatively unknown to most voters. Pence's main goal for tonight is defending Donald Trump.
What's special about Donald Trump is he's never forgotten the men and women who built this country.
The number 2 spot on the ticket has taken on greater importance this year because Pence and Kaine are the understudies for older candidates. Trump would be the oldest and Hillary the second oldest ever to take office. Dave?
John, you can hear the debate on most Fox News radio stations. Amid no more justice and no peace protests, Los Angeles Police Chief Charlie Beck says 2 weekend police shootings were justified. Carnell Snell was killed after a car chase. He says he had a gun. And the other killing, he says, the officer body cam footage shows a suspect pointed a replica gun at cops. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Cloudy skies in Chicago, 60 degrees. 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Members of the Chicago City Council today set to consider Mayor Emanuel's plan to revamp the way the city handles officer-involved shootings and police misconduct allegations. There will be a hearing today about the mayor's ordinance to create the Civilian Office of Police Accountability. It will go before a joint meeting of the council's Committee on Budget and Government Operations and the Committee on Public Safety. A recommendation will then be sent to the full city council. 3 are dead, another person critically hurt. It follows a crash on Chicago's South Side near 106th Street and Indianapolis Avenue between a motorcycle and a van. A Chicago woman standing on a sidewalk in the Roseland neighborhood was shot to death. She was caught in an exchange of gunfire between 2 groups. Chicago Public Schools announcing it will lay off 250 teachers and staff members due to a steeper than expected decline in enrollment. A judge in northern Indiana entering a not guilty plea for a Fort Wayne woman accused of smothering her 2 young children after taking them from their grandparents who had legal custody. A judge also appointed a public defender for 29-year-old Amber Pastor. NBA preseason, Dwayne Wade made his Bulls debut. Milwaukee took the game 93-91. Rick Renteria officially replacing Robin Ventura as skipper of the White Sox. The news service of Lead Safe America. Does your child struggle to concentrate and pay attention? What looks like ADD or autism may actually be caused by lead poisoning. Lead is a neurotoxin. It can cause permanent brain damage. Find out how to protect your family. Go to leadsafeamerica.org. 8:03 time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro, here is Ginny Casola.
Sean Hannity gives you a hard truth.
Is anybody here surprised that the media is this abusively biased? How many times do I have to go back and say what has happened to this country and the media? Media's dead. The news media in this country is non-existent. All these people that attack Sean Hannity, the only difference between me and them is I'm honest.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
From the Fox Business Network, business is picking up at Olive Garden and Longhorn Steakhouse. Darden restaurant sales and earnings improved in the summer quarter. Darden's quarter was better than expected, and it is raising its forecast for the year. The British pound is at levels not seen since the mid-'80s, below $1.28, after British Prime Minister Theresa May decided to start the departure from the European Union in March. May tells our sister network Sky News she's encouraged by the response from other world leaders.
I've been struck, as I've been in international meetings in China and in New York, that the number of countries who've come up and actively said to me, we want to do trade deals with the United Kingdom.
Eggs made by Good Earth could be contaminated with salmonella. The FDA is urging you to return the eggs for a refund or dispose of them. The Dow closed down 53 yesterday. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
Mike Rowe here. Today I'm with Frank, one of the heating and cooling pros at 1 Hour. Frank's got his head up a vent right now. How's it going up there? Frank knows what he's talking about. He's been with 1 Hour for how long, Frank? 14 years. That's a long time. Over that time, he's worked on tons of different equipment, taken countless hours of training, and that makes Frank the man.
No, Mark Rowe's the
I'm
man.
sorry, Frank. Say again?
Mike Rowe's the man.
I heard him the first time. For any heating need, call 855-1 Hour today. Say it again, Frank.
Mike Rowe's the man.
That's what I'm talking about. Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
You're listening to the sound of an actual heart beating outside of a human body. Thanks to modern technology, a doctor can now keep a donor heart beating until it's ready to be transplanted into its recipient. Yet if our doctor wanted to transfer a phone call from her desk phone to her cell, she couldn't, because her phone system can't do that. At Vonage, we think it's about time business communications caught up. See what Vonage can do for your business at Vonage.com/it'sabout-time.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that you're probably driving right now. Sitting comfortably behind the wheel with a tasty caffeinated beverage in your cup holder. Well, if you were driving with Uber, you could be earning money right now too. That's because Uber is the ultimate side hustle. Extra cash whenever you want. Earning you can turn on and off, just like your car. This isn't just another job, it's a totally flexible way to earn. So go ahead, get your side hustle on. Visit uber.com/drive now. That's uber.com/drive now.
8:07. Let's get an update on the roads in our AM 560 Traffic Center. The latest information with Jim Talamonte.
Mike, the northbound Veterans Memorial Tollway is jammed 127th to the Reagan Tollway. There's a crash at the Boughton Toll on the left shoulder, and it's slow Finley to Roosevelt from the Army Trail Toll to 290. The Edens is 28 minutes. Lake Cook to the Junction, outbound 29. Kennedy, an hour and 5 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 41 minutes. The Eisenhower's an hour and 10 minutes from Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 58 minutes. Northbound I-55 jammed from before 126 to Lamont Road, where a crash just moved to the right shoulder. It's an hour and 15 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40 minutes. Ryan, 30 minutes. 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound really snarled from 132 to Oak Plain, northbound from LaGrange Road to 31st, and from the Cermak Toll to the Grand Avenue Curve. The Adams Tollway's good. Reagan Tollway has delays. Farnsworth to Eola, Washington to Yackley, and 83 to the Tri-State. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Areas of fog for the morning, otherwise clouds give way to some sun today. High 75. Tonight, partly cloudy and mild, low 61. Warm tomorrow with intervals of clouds and sunshine. Becoming breezy in the afternoon with a shower or thunderstorm around. High 77. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
61 at O'Hare, 62 along the lakefront. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Tasty Catering. Stop by and try their food before planning your awesome corporate event menu. Visit tastycatering.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
When you talk about the mental health problems, when people come back from war and combat and they see things that maybe a lot of the folks in this room have seen many times over, and you're strong and you can handle it, but a lot of people can't handle it.
Which is of great interest and great concern to a lot of people, right? There are people who devote their lives to dealing with post-traumatic stress, PTS. And one of the things they are devoted to is the notion that it can happen to anyone. It's not about being strong.
And he kind of said some offensive things, which I don't necessarily agree with, but I got to get past that. I'm looking more of the economic and stuff like that.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, interesting piece in the New York Times. No, not the piece over the weekend with the 3 pages from Donald Trump's 1995 tax return. But this piece from 1995 that the New York Times observed, and I'm quoting from the paper, though there are still 4 years to go in the 90s, business and government leaders in New York honored Donald J. Trump yesterday for pulling off what they called the comeback of the decade.
Well, looky here. Okay.
Mr. Trump, the developer who came to epitomize opulent wealth during the 80s before tumbling into deep financial trouble, has managed to erase much of his debt and is moving ahead with major projects at a time other developers are idling. So I guess there's a couple of things. One is the idea that Trump suffered real estate losses, not exactly news to the Clintons' point of wanting to put stuff that has been litigated 20 years ago into the past and close the book on it. Well, Donald Trump wrote about his real estate losses in books, and of course it was splashed all across the tabloids in New York during that period of time as well, and then he turned it around. So do we have a case of the left turning into Trump truthers? Where there's not evidence, they offer conjecture to bridge the gap. That's what the New York Times did, conjecturing about what federal taxes he may or may not have paid based on the 3 pages from his 95 return. We also have Howard Dean, former DNC chairman, former candidate for president of the United States, being unwilling to walk back his characterization that Donald Trump may have been on cocaine in the first debate because of his sniffling. Howard Dean suggesting, well, we don't know that he did use cocaine. Is that the standard, doctor?
Wow.
Do we have Trump trutherism going on here on the left?
So a man has never had a drop of alcohol in his life.
Let's put that question to our friend Joe Trippi. He, of course, is Fox News contributor, Democrat strategist, and former manager for the Howard Dean presidential campaign. Joe, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good to be with you, Dan and Amy.
So what about the Howard Dean comment, since he's a former client of yours?
Well, I wouldn't have advised him to do it, but or have said it. I would have advised him to take it back. But, of course, it wouldn't be the first time the man hasn't listened to me. So.
Okay, fair point. All right, that's fair. And what about the issue of the tax returns that, the 3 pages that were released, and now we're litigating whether Trump paid taxes and did he pay enough taxes and all that stuff. Do you see any trouble for Hillary Clinton having the script flipped on her, someone who's made $150 million in the public sector?
Look, I mean, there's going to be stuff flying on both sides, but this isn't good for Donald Trump, no matter how you look at it. And I think the bigger problem isn't whether he lost nearly $1 billion and came back from it. He benefited from the tax code that way, and his answer to the tax code is to do things like eliminating the estate tax or lowering it so much that it would save him even more billions than he and his family more billions than he already had.
But what he did was legal.
That Clinton will make against him.
Well,
is what I'm saying.
Well, not only what he did is legal, but what about this? I mean, so are you suggesting we should eliminate, or Hillary Clinton should or wants to eliminate the loss carry forward? I mean, here's an example that's more pedestrian, but it was offered by Megan McArdle in her piece in Bloomberg this morning. A meatpacking business loses $1 million in year one, then makes $1.5 million in year two. Without the ability to carry forward those losses from year one, then over 2 years it would perhaps pay $600,000 worth of state and federal income taxes on $500,000 of actual money. So loss carry forward turns out to potentially be arguably good policy for entrepreneurs who have a bad year and then a good year to equalize what they're actually realizing in terms of income. And so Donald Trump doing that on a grand scale is a bad thing, but the meatpacking plan is not a bad thing.
No, I think the issue here is under the code at the time, he could have borrowed $900 million of that money, and he could have been forgiven, and he would still claim the $900 million loss on his tax return. For something that could have been a $1 million investment. This could all be cleared up by him releasing his taxes. And I understand he's under audit, and he's not going to do that. So that's his position, and that means he is open to the attack. We're playing for president of the United States. The attacks are going to fly back both ways. And by the way, the master of innuendo is Trump. So live by the sword, die by the sword. You can't have it both ways.
Right. Well, what do you think it says is him as a businessman? Because he has touted so many times, I'm the best businessman, the best job creator.
Well, that's the issue. Is he a good businessman or not? Arguably, and Hillary Clinton asked the question yesterday, what kind of genius loses $1 billion in casinos? But, that's what I mean. She's going to make that attack. And I think people are going to scratch their head and ask themselves that question. That he's the one that has to prove the opposite. He could do that again by releasing his taxes or continue to fight the way he's fighting. I don't think the way he's fighting is helping him at all. If he stays on message, he actually might have a shot, but he keeps sort of stepping in front of himself and creating whether it's the Miss Universe or something else, we end up talking about something he said instead of the real issues. And I agree that it'd be better if he was being hit on issues, but again, if he keeps stumbling, they're gonna hit back.
Well, do you expect, not the Miss Universe matter, but do you expect the conversation we're having about the tax issue to spill over in tonight's VP debate?
I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely. There's no way that this is going to go away. Just like the emails aren't going to go away for her. These 3 pages create a number of problems for Trump, or a number of things he has to explain. And they're not going to let him off the hook. Neither is Pence isn't going to let Kaine get away without answering questions about I would imagine, about server email and other things. So it's just going to get ugly. My own view is this is going to get ugly. If you didn't think it could get uglier than it already has, get ready, put your seatbelts on. The next 30 days are going to be pretty negative.
All right. Well, that said, do you think tonight's vice presidential debate could get a little ugly? I mean, Governor Pence has to show that there's someone in there with serious policy chops. And Tim Kaine, his role is to say, try and promote Hillary Clinton as more personable, more friendly.
I know. I think. Look, they're more likely to stay on message. Certainly, Pence is going to stay on message better than Trump does. And I think they'll probably talk more policy. But I think both of them will be trying to put the other on defense, Pence defending Trump. And, of course, Pence will have try to put as much pressure on Kaine to defend Clinton. The problem here is there's a lot more daylight between Trump and Pence on a number of things, personality traits, and the issues than there is between Hillary and Kaine. So I think but I think Pence has got to try to do it. And I think there are a number of things he can do.
Well, that could work out to Pence's advantage because he'll spend less time talking about Donald Trump than Donald Trump did, which is to Trump's disadvantage, it seems to me.
And there are, I think Pence is going to, make a lot of comparisons that work positively for him on unemployment and other issues compared his reigning governor of Indiana and Kane in Virginia, comparing the two economies and accomplishments. But in the end, I've never seen a vice presidential debate, including the one where Lloyd Bentsen wiped out Dan Quayle, change the dynamic in the race at all. Dan Quayle went on, despite not being John Kennedy, went on to become the vice president of the United States. So I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be something I'm looking forward to watching and hearing, but I'm not sure it's going to have much impact on the race.
All right, you and Amy, to the two people other than people named Kane or Pence that are looking forward to watching the debate tonight. So if you were advising the Clinton camp with 35 days to go, what would you tell them to do in terms of messaging? Is it right where they are and try and bait Trump on Sunday night like you did on in the first debate to talk about himself and get off on tangents like Miss Universe, or would it be something different?
No, that's all they're going to. I think that's all you're going to see them do is just bait, and hope he takes it for the next 30 days. I mean, at that debate, if she'd thrown minnows out on the stage, you could have thought he would have chased them all over the place. I mean, he really doesn't have the discipline to not take it, which is just amazing to me, given that this far into the race. But I think as long as that works, they're going to keep doing it. He's blown or wasted 5 or 6 days now after that debate, still chasing some of those things around.
All right. He is Joe Trippi, Fox News contributor, Democrat strategist, former manager for Howard Dean's presidential campaign. Joe, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Great to be with you guys. Have me back. Look forward to it.
Great. Thank you, Joe.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Some thick cloud coverage this morning. Hopefully we'll have some sunshine. It says that we will by this afternoon. I missed that sun. Says that, yes, if anything you read, put in front of me, I will read. A high of 75 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, mild, 61 for your low. And for tomorrow, it's going to be warm with some sun, they say, but breezy in the afternoon, a possible thunderstorm in spots, a high of 78 degrees. Let's get those travel times into a very busy traffic center this morning. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thank you, Amy. It's gloomy on the inbound Kennedy, too, with delays all the way in. An hour and 4 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 36 minutes from Montrose, 29 in the Express. Outbound 34 minutes to the airport. Eden's 28 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 29. The Eisenhower, an hour and 11 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, 50 minutes from Manheim, outbound 58 to Thorndale. Northbound I-55, really sticky from before 126 to Lamont Road, where crash moved to the right shoulder. More delays kick in at First Avenue. An hour and 15 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40 minutes. Orion, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound, stop and go, a plane to Bradley. Northbound, LaGrange Road to 31st. And from the Cermak toll to the Grand Avenue curve, delays on the Veterans Memorial from I-55 to the Reagan Tollway, and from the Army Trail toll to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
You might not know it, but fall is the perfect time to feed your lawn. So this football season, you can spend halftime eating some lukewarm bean dip, or you can head outside and run some lawn feeding routes using Scott's Turf Builder Winter Guard Fall Lawn Food. The conditions are ideal for grass to grow deep roots, so your lawn will be stronger come spring. So forget the room temperature dip. Get out there and pick up your bag today. Fall time is yard time with Scott's.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents a story about pickles.
It's 2 a.m. and your pregnant wife needs pickles. So you pick up some green happiness but accidentally hit a parked car. Great. Something else to worry about. Luckily, Liberty Mutual Insurance has 24/7 claims assistance, so you can take care of your claim right away. Problem solved. Now, if only you bought the right pickles.
Click the banner to get a quote. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company.
Congratulations to all who took the Balance of Nature Challenge. Success stories are pouring in.
I've been singing the product's praises to everybody I talked to.
I didn't have any real ailments to say, but I'm older and I was an ex-smoker and I did have some things that were kind of borderline, and, I had a clean bill of health. I would love to have it forever because I felt strongly about it. And because also of my lifestyle, I do not incorporate the fruits and vegetables that one person should have in a daily basis. So I thought this would be a very good thing.
For me, it's working.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
A couple years ago, I had a severe accident which disabled my right hand and caused chronic pain and complete suffering. It took many years before really we figured out exactly what it was or how to treat it. My whole goal was I did not want to be on high levels of pain medicine. After some time, I went to see Dr. Kenneth Candido to try to figure out the source of the pain and a solution and how to solve it. He listens. I'm going to cry because it's so real. I've been through so much, and he wants to help his patients, and he's there for me whenever I need him.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. I have a simple message for you. If you or someone you love or someone you know has chronic pain, contact us. Treating chronic pain issues is what we do. We can make it better. Get an appointment and let's talk. MyPainChicago.com, MyPainChicago.com. All the info is available at MyPainChicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, this is an interesting story. Wall Street Journal. Emails reviewed by the Wall Street Journal show agents with the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency crafted a plan in 2010 to use license plate readers, devices that record the plate numbers of all passing cars, at gun shows. In Southern California, including one in Del Mar, not far from the Mexican border. Agents then compared the information to cars that crossed the border, hoping to find gun smugglers, according to documents and interviews the Wall Street Journal did with law enforcement officials with knowledge of the operation. Of course, this raises concerns among gun rights activists that I'm being surveilled. You're
getting a background check done, essentially. For a legal product.
And I'm being recorded, perhaps databased, as attending a particular gun show. It's interesting.
And our government is monitoring what's going on in Mexico.
No, this is in California.
No, I know it's in California, but they said because they're drug smuggling it's selling those guns in Mexico.
Smuggling. Yeah, I mean, normally you leave gun smuggling to the federal government, the ATF,
right.
A la Fast and Furious. Here, they're just monitoring the potential of gun smugglers showing up at gun shows, I suppose, to purchase guns, but to do it indiscriminately, as opposed to targeting a particular individual that you have suspicion may be a gun smuggler, I got a problem with. And also, I mean, think about this just for a minute. ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, they're indiscriminately monitoring Americans attending gun shows. And what are they charged to do in urban centers that are sanctuary city designees throughout the nation? What are they charged to do with respect to the 12,587 Syrian refugees that were admitted to this country in FY 2016? 12,486 of whom were Muslim, 68 Christian, 24 Yazidi. And, I know Muslims are being targeted for murder by ISIS as well, but there is a designated genocide going on against Christians at the hands of ISIS in Syria and Iraq, and 12,046 of 12,587 were Muslims, 68 Christians. I don't know. That seems perhaps I think there are questions that could be raised about the proportion given the activity on the ground in that region of the world. Just worth noting, ICE, this is what ICE is doing, looking at Americans at gun shows indiscriminately rather than necessarily focusing directly on border security. Now, you could argue there's some indirect benefits to trying to tackle gun smugglers who could be funneling guns to Mexican drug cartels that obviously have deleterious impacts on safety in America. but I think I'd like to hear the nexus between the monitoring and those operations. I'd like to hear more detail about that before we just willy-nilly sign away our privacy rights under the our Second Amendment rights to ICE.
Well, even the CEO of PlateSmart Technologies, they sell those license plate readers. He even called this an abuse of the technology to target gun show shoppers. I mean, this is the reason why some people get that extra little film that you can buy to encase your license plate with, so that you can avoid these readers and maybe some red light cameras. Mm-hmm.
All right, Kirk in Park Ridge, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Obviously, Dan, you're a racist, and that's why, you're against this. Because,
obviously.
I'm sure it's the president's idea, and that, that you being against his plan is racist. But the thing that I wanted to talk about was that, Trump has to change the subject, tweak it a little bit. Hillary's saying what a steady hand she has and how level-headed she is. We have to go after her in Benghazi. I know it's over and over at Benghazi, but she left that ambassador there to die. He begged her for security. What kind of steady hand allows that to happen? Ignores the calls for help to send troops. They left him there behind, and then blames it on a tape. Is that a steady hand?
Yeah.
Is that good temperament?
Thanks for the call, Kurt. I suggest that the issue tonight about that Russian reset and how well that's going also be re-raised, as diplomatic talks have now broken off between Russia and the United States over Syria, as Russia is weaponizing Syria further to protect Assad. That's a relationship that's not going so well under the Obama-Hillary regime, is it?
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You might not know it, but fall is the perfect time to feed your lawn. So this football season, you can spend halftime eating some lukewarm bean dip, or you can head outside and run some lawn feeding routes using Scott's Turf Builder Winter Guard Fall Lawn Food. The conditions are ideal for grass to grow deep roots, so your lawn will be stronger come spring. So forget the room temperature dip. Get out there and pick up your bag today. Fall time is yard time with Scott's.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents a story about pickles.
It's 2 a.m. and your pregnant wife needs pickles. So you pick up some green happiness but accidentally hit a parked car. Great. Something else to worry about. Luckily, Liberty Mutual Insurance has 24/7 claims assistance, so you can take care of your claim right away. Problem solved. Now, if only you bought the right pickles.
Click the banner to get a quote. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company.
AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Dan's good friend's going to be here.
The one and only Milo. You don't even need a last name. He's just Milo at 8:38.
And why are the Chicago Cubs giving our aldermen millions of dollars worth of Chicago Cubs playoff tickets? We'll explain. Oh, yeah, millions. If they make it to the World Series, it's going to be $1 million for a bullpen seat. Now let's go into the newsroom. It's true, because I said it. Here's Mike Scott.
62 degrees. Hurricane Matthews slamming Haiti in what some forecasters are calling a catastrophic event. Meteorologist Dave Roberts is with the National Hurricane Center.
Life-threatening flash floods is going to be a
All the counties in Florida remain under a state of emergency. Forecasters still do not know if the hurricane will make landfall. Voters will get an introduction to both vice presidential nominees tonight. Hillary Clinton campaign manager Robbie Mook with CBS This Morning.
Investment in jobs since World War II, help families afford college and health care, and basically talk about the issues. That's when we always do best as a campaign.
Republican Mike Pence squares off against Democrat Tim Kaine in a 90-minute primetime debate heard right here on AM 560 tonight beginning at 8. Indiana Governor Pence, former member of Congress, Virginia Senator Kaine, a former governor as well. Former President Bill Clinton blasting Obamacare.
So you've got this crazy system where all of a sudden 25 million more people have health care, and then the people who are out there busting it sometimes 60 hours a week wind up with their premiums doubled and their coverage cut in half. It's the craziest thing in the world.
Experts say it doesn't help his wife, Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump getting some backlash for comments about vets suffering from mental health issues. In a discussion with vets in Virginia, Trump saying some vets can't handle what they see in combat. Trump then went on to say that troops who have not received proper mental care are committing suicide, and they all need support and an improved VA. The quest to get to the World Series gets underway tonight. Major League Baseball postseason begins. AL East foes meet in a wild card winner-go-home game, Orioles and Blue Jays. Members of the Chicago City Council set to consider Mayor Rahm Emanuel's plan to revamp the way the city handles officer-involved police shootings and police misconduct today. Chicago sports, last night, NBA preseason, Milwaukee beat the Bulls. Rick Renteria officially the new White Sox skipper. And the news service of Staples with low prices on ink and toner. And Staples has an in-stock guarantee to ensure you always get what you need fast. In-stock guarantee applies to in-store selection only. Out-of-stock ink and toner will be ordered from in-store kiosk with $10 discount. Plus, free shipping. Limit 1 cartridge per customer. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher reacts to the first presidential debate.
Lester Holt was a joke. Lester Holt challenged Trump on his answers 6 times. With follow-up questions, ask me how many times Lester Holt challenged Hillary. Try 0. So here's Trump, once again, having to fend off everybody, the moderator and his opponent.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Your area rugs and carpets take a lot of abuse. Imagine if you were walked on every day. All the dirt from pets, kids, and spills pushed into your poor rug and carpet fibers. It's a tough job being a floor covering. It's even tougher to get them cleaned properly. Get the job done right the first time. Call Matthew Klugian and Sons, awarded the best carpet and rug cleaner in Chicago. Since 1938, Matthew Klugian and Sons nationally recognized state-of-the-art cleaning plant and service center have been cleaning, repairing, and restoring area rugs and carpets to the highest quality possible. Klugian and Sons will clean and sanitize your dirty rugs like no other. They clean museum-quality rugs and will treat your rugs and carpets with the same exceptional care. Visit Matthew Klugian and Sons showroom at 1421 West Devon Avenue when you're searching for new or antique area rugs or custom carpeting. Now save 50% on deodorizing with an area rug cleaning order. Klugian and Sons. Find them online at KLUJIANrugs.com or call 773-743-1300.
Remodel your kitchen with Galaxy. Buy 1 cabinet and get 1 free with free financing and design services. Call 773-783-8300.
For over 4 years, foreclosure defense attorney Lou Bridges has shared the truth about foreclosures. For as little as $80, you can advertise your business in Lou's show on AM 560 The Answer. It's easy. Your advertisements will be professionally written and produced. You'll get credible exposure for your business on a radio station that touches listeners in 4 states. All sponsorships in the show are category exclusive. All sponsors must pass a rigorous vetting process prior to Lou endorsing and recommending your company to his listeners. Lou is looking for sponsors in the following categories: credit repair, HVAC, moving, siding, roofing, banking, IRS tax resolution, car dealers, painting, remodeling, and lawyers. Don't delay. Find out today how you can reach potential customers for only $80 a week with The Lou Bridges Show. To become a sponsor on AM 560 The Answer, call Larry Chappell now at 847-312-8197. That's 847-312-8197.
It is 8:37. Check of the roads, AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Eastbound I-80 is stop and go from Humboldt to before Gauger due to a crash in the left lane. Westbound it's heavy Francis to Gauger. Edens is 25 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 29. Kennedy, 58 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 35 minutes. The Eisenhower, an hour and 14 minutes from Thorndale to Burns Circle, outbound 58 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 15 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40 minutes. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound, slow 21 to 176. Northbound, it's very slow from LaGrange Road to 31st and from the Cermak toll to the Grand Avenue curve. Reagan Tollway delays Washington to Highland with crash on the exit ramp. Veterans Memorials, the I-55 to the Reagan Tollway and the Army Trail toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Fog peeling off this morning. Leaving behind clouds and a little bit of afternoon sunshine. High 75. Partly cloudy and mild. 61 overnight. 62 almost everywhere right now. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We're efforting Milo, but he's being kept in an undisclosed location by Jack Dorsey. So as soon as we identify that location,
and it's hard because he's been kicked off Twitter, too, so we can't tweet him and say, Milo,
yeah, he's banned.
Live up to your commitments.
He's banned on Twitter.
Yeah, we saw that fight.
You mentioned you've got Cubs tickets for Friday and Saturday.
No, I have them here in my right hand. See them? Don't look. Don't touch. Just look.
And you're trying to decide which son, Peyton or Eli, gets to go with you. I've already given you the way to resolve the matter. You've eschewed that to your chagrin. To your chagrin.
Common spelling?
E-S-C-H.
Right.
E-W.
Right. Eschewed. I knew that.
And
they did.
why don't you just? I mean, they're old enough. Why don't you just let them go? The two of them go.
Well, I was going to do that, but the game starts at 8:15,
Yeah.
and it's going to be a little rowdy. And I just
these are Cub fans.
Yeah, they're not going to sit the whole game. Trust me, I've been there before. That you don't sit and they're rowdy, and
that's not
they're
rowdy.
in a section where a lot of foul balls are going to be hit.
A lot of foul balls.
Yeah.
Don't they play baseball?
One of them does.
So there you go. One can catch the ball and protect the other. And I mean, rowdy Cubs fans, they're just a bunch of sissy frat girls.
Sissy frat girls. I do take offense to that.
There's a bunch of like Lincoln Park and Lakeview Trixies, and I'm talking about the guys.
They all pull up in their white Jettas. Sure. Yeah.
Some Cabriolets too, not just Jettas.
But the thing because it's really hard to get tickets, and I think that God chose me in this lottery to be able to purchase tickets because I gave up my season tickets a few years back. But the aldermen...
Not hard to get tickets if you're an alderman.
Yeah. This is what makes me sick. And they do this. They've done this in 2003, 2007, anytime we make it into the postseason. They give city councilmen and state representatives who represent the area of Wrigleyville chances to buy tickets. So they could buy up to 2 tickets per alderman. And then when they make it to the World Series, we're talking big money because you're denying this, but this is according to StubHub for the World Series. StubHub prices start at $2,499 for standing room only. If you want to, and then a jaw dropping. Are you ready? $1 million for a bullpen box seat for 1 seat. So these aldermen and
bullpen box. I think that's
box.
That can't be 1 seat.
Yes.
No.
Yes, it's true. I sold mine when I was a season ticket holder. I sold mine for a lot of money.
Yeah, that's
and it paid for the whole season.
That's insane. There's no way. But first of all,
it's something that hasn't happened in 108 years.
So are you saying that Tom Tunney's going to be up the Ricketts' collective butt for these tickets? Is that?
No, you know what? Actually, I think Tom Tunney is one of the aldermen who's declined to take the tickets, but I'm not
Really?
sure. You know what? I don't know that for sure. But I know last year at the playoff series, I never saw him. But I saw John Cullerton because it's not just our aldermen. Again, it's our state reps and state senators who represent Wrigleyville.
More than 70% of city council members taking the Cubs up on their generous offer to purchase tickets. Obviously, it's an inherent conflict of interest, as some aldermen have noted, because you potentially make decisions about things like, I don't know, Wrigley Field renovation and expansion around the park.
And liquor license.
And if you're taking gifts, which this effectively is, from the Cubs, then that could be seen as a bit of a quid pro quo. I mean, this is, a rather understated, I guess, as corruption goes in Chicago. But nonetheless, it's part of the Chicago way that has us way in the red.
Yeah, but Julian Green, the Cubs spokesman, he says that they're paying for these tickets and they're not being given a discount for free tickets.
They're paying face value for tickets they wouldn't otherwise
They would never have gotten in because 2 million people applied on the lottery and only a few thousand got in to actually purchase tickets. But he said, we're not providing tickets to elected officials to resell and turn a profit. This is only
how are they going to stop that?
This is only for their personal use to enjoy the excitement of the Cubs playoff baseball.
By the way, Tom Tunney, who's up the Ricketts' collective butt.
Yeah, where's my Tom?
He is taking advantage of the Cubs' offer.
Oh, he is.
He said even though he might not make it inside the stadium for every single inning. Well, sure. He's got a lot of proctology work to do. So I understand that. He's only got so much time. There's only so many innings. But what about this? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. If there are any Cub fans out there, I assume they're not, but if there are, what do you think about this, especially if you weren't lucky like Amy and you didn't get tickets through the lottery? What do you think about your esteemed aldermanic representative potentially getting your tickets at face value instead? Is that problematic, or is it just part of the tribute we pay for good government in Chicago?
Well, it takes away tickets from real Cub fans out there. Seriously, because they get to not only go to the Division Series, they get to go to the Championship Series and then eventually the World Series.
Nobody's going to the Championship Series or the World Series, so let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Everyone's decided. We're already planning the parade.
Oh,
it's already a done deal.
Everyone's decided except the other National League teams.
Exactly.
Yeah, they haven't decided. That's the wrinkle. Yeah.
But here's the thing. They plan to monitor the online secondary market for resale of these tickets. So they know what section they're sitting in.
What's going to happen?
Oh, are you ready? This Julian Green said that they're going to ask elected officials to please remove those tickets from StubHub.
And what if John Cullerton says, hey, Julian Green, why don't you go pound sand because I'm selling these tickets for a handsome profit, and if you don't like it, that's just
too
tough.
bad. Because they can't kick the person out of the seat who purchased in the secondary market.
Yeah, so what are they going to do? They're going to kick John Cullerton out of the seat? They're going to kick Mike Madigan out of the seat? They're going to kick Tom Tunney in his seat?
They get 2 tickets. So he could bring somebody that bought the ticket for, say, $50,000. I mean, this is wrong on so many levels. But according to the Cubs, they said, this is a courtesy similar to the one that they've extended to politicians in the past.
Yeah, well, they should stop extending the courtesy. I mean, I think all should. There should be no courtesies for politicians. This is the whole thing. When you treat politicians like the ruling class, don't be surprised when they act like the ruling class. Is that so complicated? It's about time they served as the objects of ridicule in an interpersonal level. Not just it's real easy to be a tough guy, call in on a radio show, or whispering to your neighbor. It's about time there was a real revolt here against the ruling class in Chicago and Cook County and the state of Illinois. But instead, you got a bunch of Lakeview Trixies that are going to the Cubs game and you're going to be yucking it up with all these political hacks. Mike in East Moline, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, I don't disagree with one thing you said, although our company that I work for uses Thompson Colburn, which is Cullerton's law firm.
Oh, yeah.
They've had seats next to the Ricketts there for 25, 30 years. So he goes to the games, but he sits in his own seats that his law firm has. And I'm a Republican. I'm not sticking up for John, but Cullerton's their firm has seats there, and they've had them forever.
Well, yeah,
so
but
see him there.
But he could buy a couple more seats at face value, and then.
Well, I'm not saying he won't do that. I don't know, but
well,
I mean, here's the other thing I'll say: if they're going to offer it to him, why wouldn't you take it?
I don't know because
because of moral
because
values.
You have an ethical standard. You realize a conflict of interest when you see it. I mean, I know that's crazy talk in this town, but maybe that would be something that would weigh on someone's mind. I don't know.
I get that, but I'm just saying that that law firm has seats, so he'll be there, and I don't know if he'll take the other ones or not, but I'll sure harass him about it.
Good. That's what I like to hear. That's what I'm talking about. Thanks for the call, Mike. That's what I want. I want people looking for the aldermen and the state legislators and everybody else, all the politicians in the stands, and dumping beer on them and otherwise harassing them, making it impossible for them to enjoy the game. That's what I want.
Well, here, listen to this.
And it starts with you, Jacobson.
Okay, sure. I'll go out there and just harass people.
Yeah.
Alderman Danny Solis, friend of the show's, he last year, since he's chairman of the city council zoning committee, last year he said no. This year he changed his mind. Are you ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
I really don't like to cut off my nose to spite my face.
No, of course not.
My chief of staff is a really big Cub fan. I'll give him a ticket, and my wife is a big Cub fan. I'll have her go.
No, I mean, it was...
So he's already giving away his seats.
Well, it was nice
but
that
1 year before he had hit morals.
it was nice that his ethical conduct lasted for even a year. That's unusual, even for a calendar year, even for another event that Danny Solis decided to try and avoid an obvious conflict of interest. And not this year, but I mean, he did have a year. It's like a Cubs winning streak. It happened once. In 1908.
He said last year, I said, no, it was dumb. I have constituents, supporters, and staff who would really enjoy the opportunity to see this championship season.
Yeah, constituents, supporters like my wife.
My gosh. My wife. Well, she's a vote.
she's
a vote. She lives, in the ward. She's in that ward.
Fun. And I mean, and by the way, this is not just for Wrigley. I see the same thing at Comiskey or Cell or Guaranteed Rate or the G-Spot or whatever the people are calling it these days.
It's called the G-Spot.
You see Big Jim Thompson and Little Richie Daly and Little John Cullerton and they're all in the section. They're in the same section I'm in. They're just a few rows ahead of me. I see all the politicians there all the time for opening day and whatnot. I'm sure they're provided the same courtesy from Reinsdorf. So, I mean, I'm not just picking on the Cubs. I mean, it's everybody plays the same game in this city, in this state. And I'll tell you what, it's going great, isn't it? Isn't it going well? Culture here? I mean, it's great for Cullerton and all the politicians. How's it going for you? How you like this culture?
And now they're even
a lot of benefits.
Now they're even taking our Cubs playoff tickets.
Do you ever get sick of this in this state or no? No. Nah. It's all good.
You have to be a good neighbor. Otherwise, I'm going to be up your butt every day.
You switch to Chicago's
and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be up the butt every day to make sure that the commitments that Ricketts make and the commitments that the mayor makes are actually solidified by your support as colleagues.
Today, we're going to be deep in clouds, but hopefully by this afternoon, we'll see some sunshine, a high of 75 degrees. Tonight, a low of 61. And for tomorrow, it's going to be warm. Little taste of summer. Do I dare say Indian summer? I don't want to get in trouble. It'll be breezy by the afternoon. A thunderstorm in spots and a high of 78 degrees. Let's get the travel times on the roadways. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Well, as usual at this hour, it's an ugly traffic culture in Chicago. The Kennedy slow all the way in from O'Hare, 57 minutes from the airport to downtown, 36 from Montrose, 35 in the Express, outbound 32 minutes to O'Hare. The Edens, 25 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 29. The Eisenhower, an hour and 17 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, an hour from Manheim, outbound 36 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40 minutes. The Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to the Loop. The Tri-State southbound still a bit tight from 21 to 176. Northbound, stop and go from the Stevenson to 31st and Roosevelt to North Avenue. The Adams Tollway's good. Veterans Memorial still pretty slow from I-55 to the Reagan Tollway, then from the Army Trail Toll to 290. That's traffic on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're serious about selling your home, now is the time. Supply is low and it's a great seller's market in many Chicagoland neighborhoods. I've done the research, and along with my Salem Radio colleagues, Mike Gallagher and Michael Medved, we all recommend that you call Saul. Saul Z and the Z team are so good that if they don't sell your home in 59 days, they'll sell it for free, guaranteed. Saul is ranked 106 out of 1.2 million agents by the Wall Street Journal. His proven marketing system is so effective that he sells on average a home every single day, attracting multiple full-price offers. That demand helps sell your home fast and at the highest price. It's a no-brainer. If I were selling a home in Chicagoland, I'd call Saul. Go online to callsaul.net or call Saul now at 888-346-0666. That's callsaul, SAUL.net, or 888-346-0666. You'd better call Saul.
Congratulations to all who took the Balance of Nature Challenge. Success stories are pouring in.
It resolved the problem that my husband was having. We've been together for 22 years, and ever since I've known him, he's the type of guy that as soon as he eats, he's got to run to the bathroom. That's what it was. I mean, he didn't have weight loss or anything like that. He just had a lot of digestive issues. That straightened him right out, and he's eating healthier, more fruit and veg in his diet, which has straightened him out as well, but that pretty much got him back on track.
I like it. I feel good. Notice a difference in my nails and my hair. Not anything I could put my finger on, but I feel a little bit more bounce to my step. And I'm going on 70, so there's not normally bounces in my step.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Introducing the perfect getaway, nestled in the prairie, a place you can go to unload the stress of the day and recharge your inner peace. A place that fills your senses with fresh air and the sweet sounds of your Second Amendment rights being exercised. It's where you go to clear your head.
Set your sights for the range at 355. Shoot in a brand new state-of-the-art facility with 2 ranges, one programmable for distance and the other for turning and tactical drills featuring Mancom Touch Plus and Mancom Touch and Go systems. Trust us, it's cool. The Range at 355, situated on a private parcel of wetlands at the crossroads of I-55 and 355, right off Boughton Road. A shooting oasis with a full array of firearms, ammunition, accessories, and classes with professional guidance and courteous instruction. Take a vacation from the mundane. The Range at 355, founded by patriots like you.
For range hours and info, visit range355.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, yeah, Dan. Remember back in 2014 when this reporter from Alaska, she works at the CBS in Alaska, Charlo Green, she made an announcement. She quit on air.
And as for this job, well, not that I have a choice, but I quit.
And
I see you driving around town with the girl I love.
She walked off of you. They cut back to the...
That's CeeLo Green, right?
No, this is Charlo Green.
Oh.
And they cut back to the anchor who was, astonished that her reporter just dropped the F-bomb and quit her job in such a valiant way. But the reason why she quit was because she started this Alaskan cannabis club. But the problem is it's a cannabis club, and she took money and donations for marijuana. I see you're listening to this story. So she was receiving donations for marijuana through this club membership before it was legal to do so.
If she's a dope dealer, so she's going to the can.
Well, but not just for a little bit. She has 8 more offenses added on to the other charges. She could face 54 years in prison.
I'll tell you what, give her another 10 for being a mainstream media reporter, too, on top of it, just for their crimes against humanity in that position.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. Stay warm this winter. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for winter storms and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or Charles Equipment.